Joacim Borg here. Thank you for coming in, sir.
Thanks for inviting me. This is it's fun to do.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and all of the things that you do that we're going to get to, because there's plenty of them.
Yeah. So I'm the chief marketing officer at Index Investment Group. It's a real estate development and investment company, but we've got three main pillars there that we do. So we do real estate, equity, and energy investments. So I help out working marketing for all the different companies and subsidiaries and stuff, everything that they do. And then I have Wavelength that I started with Justin Bruns. We started that probably like 3-4 years ago to do marketing, commercials, social media management, and then like the final goal was always to do full-length feature films. And then for Index, I also started our real estate brokerage. So I've been doing that for the past 8 years as kind of like a secondary side thing that would help us in just learning more about different markets and helping friends and family get houses down here. And another side project is Hadron, which basically was kind of a hobby for 12 years. I started out producing like electronic dance music, kind of like with the Avicii storm that came here when I was in college.
Mm-hmm.
Started off DJing and then basically like just bridged that into like production. So started doing more electronic production myself and started doing like gigs at local like bars and clubs and fraternities and stuff. So that was just a fun side thing, which eventually I just went under my own name at first, Joacim Borg, and then started off a couple different other like aliases after that, and Hadron was probably the most successful one because ended up putting that song into Ultra and having that played by Phoenix Paul like around the world. So
that went worldwide on
that was cool.
Yeah.
Granted, the payments weren't that great at all, so figured I'd stick to what I can kind of see like easier market dollars.
Now, when that goes around the world, what's the payment scale with that? Is that by streams or
no?
Or...
So I mean, between like individual streams and like actually playing in concerts and stuff, it all gets kind of registered with like BMI, and like through that they pay you based on like the amount of plays that you get, and it's never as exciting as you think it'd be.
So like how many?
I think I made like a couple $100 off of that song.
Really?
Yeah.
So how many plays, like to get $100? How many plays do you need, like roughly?
I mean, on Spotify we probably have like 100,000 plays, which is like isn't that much in the large scheme of things, but like between like concert plays and like you over YouTube and stuff, I don't know, a couple 100,000 plays, but that really didn't boil down to much money at all.
In the 3-figure range?
No, just like a couple $100, honestly.
I mean 300, like hundreds, no thousands.
Yeah, no.
Well, it was fun for you, right?
Yeah, and like I've helped on like big like actual productions and stuff as well. Like Big Brother in Sweden helped put together soundtracks for them and did some like side recording gigs and stuff. But I mean, it was never like any big money. Even like the DJing was never really that lucrative. So kind of stepped away from that market a little bit.
So it was kind of just like ended up just kind of being a hobby.
Yeah,
type
I mean,
thing.
it's granted it was really good experience in terms of like leveraging that into the whole film production thing. Because I mean, I was always like very well versed in all the various different production programs like Ableton, Fruity Loops, Audition, and basically like the whole structure and everything made sense for me to kind of understand like post-production and everything in terms of the video stuff. I also did a couple courses in college and was always like very self-taught in terms of everything that I've been doing. So it's so fun.
That actually kind of helped you with the Wave company.
Yeah. So
right? So you got to learn the technology, which kind of just got you familiar with it, and then now you're doing Wave, and you can look back at that. And
yeah. So Wavelength basically started when me and Justin we were sitting in my I was living up in Jupiter at Riverwalk Point. We were sitting in the parking lot basically talking like what our plans were and what we wanted to do, and we were just talking, and basically we came up with the idea that like to get to the point of doing full-length feature films, starting off with like no money, no investment, I mean, we had experience because both of us been doing like photography for our entire lives basically. That the way to get to that point would be to like get as many different consistent like marketing gigs that we could make like compelling sales videos and stuff for various different companies, because like coming out of college, like you expect everyone to kind of be standardized and like understand this stuff, but like there's so many people that don't understand like the importance of like a good like brand image and like how to present themselves on the internet. So we help people with like brand guidelines, design advice, like logos, like websites and all that stuff like to go along with it.
So now when you do a commercial, do you shoot that commercial or you just get them connected to somebody that will shoot the commercial?
No, so we started off shooting with like Sony A7S II and the A7R cameras, and like started doing like run and gun stuff with that, and then like did weddings, did videos. I mean, we were still exporting to 1080p, so like the cameras that were basically like DSLRs like were good enough for us to start off with, and then like we just did enough gigs to eventually be able to afford and like get our own red Gemini 5K to do like more cinematic stuff, but also like be able to leverage like the higher quality like videos that we were producing.
Yeah, I bought a DSLR. I bought 4 of them, and I didn't realize that they cut off at 30 minutes.
Oh yeah.
So, and at the time I was building everything, so I had 4. So I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go, and it cut off at 30 minutes. So all 4 of them were completely pointless.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people like I don't take things back. I don't want to deal with sending it back. I just gave it away or threw it away or I don't know. And then finally I went to a website like what Joe Rogan has in his studio because I kept wasting money.
Right.
You know, shit arm bars, not the right microphone, wrong camera, tripod that wiggled, you know, lighting wasn't right. And I went down the line and got just about every single thing on the line. Then there was no more waste because I would have just bought the wrong stuff anyway and tossed it and lost double and then bought it anyway, you know.
Get expensive. Anything in the audio video space is always like super expensive.
And a headache.
Yeah. but it justifies your pricing.
Yeah, right. Now, do you use Final Cut a lot?
Sorry?
Do you use Final Cut a lot?
No, we don't use it at all. So basically, all of our editing is done across Premiere Pro and Resolve. And I guess I didn't answer your question earlier, but like yes, so both me and Justin, we're both behind the camera, like shooting all the stuff and editing it all, like basically in house. So right now we're working on scaling that up to be able to incorporate more people to like work in this ecosystem with us, basically.
Now, when you do shoot a commercial, how much of that footage that you take, if you're there however many hours, you're only going to use like 30 seconds of that, right?
Yeah, basically.
And how many
we'll
hours
spend like
do you
5-6 hours of like just shooting, like with people to just get like a 30-second edit. Like we just shot a commercial for Freeman Injury Law like this past week, and took probably a team of us like of 8 people about 5-6 hours just to shoot. Like we did shoot 8 different variants of it, so we had various different like English speaking portions and like various different like Spanish speaking portions to create like a bunch of different variations of the video to like see which one they wanted to use for their Comcast spotlight. But yeah, it takes a lot of time, and then like the editing's probably like double that at least.
Yeah, that before I had that machine, I would use the cards and I'd put it in Final Cut and I'd be here 2-3 hours like sitting with you. Then I'd have to edit it for 2-3 hours, which is not 2-3 hours. It's like 5 because you're undoing.
No, you end up understating it anyways. And like when we first started off, like you'll say it's take like 4 hours to edit this, when really like it took you like maybe 8 or 10. But like you don't want to seem like embarrassing.
Right. Or then it locks up or something. Like, do you use Apple?
No, I don't use any Apple products at all.
Really?
Granted, like
I can't
might have been from my dad from a young age, basically like told us that you can't customize anything in Apple, and like you're locked in their structure, and it's all just a cult. So ended up not falling into any Apple products at all, apart from like maybe one of those not iTunes, what are they called?
AirPods?
The iPods, like way back in the day. I had an iPod Color.
iPod.
Which was,
yeah.
That's my like only Apple product.
That's amazing. You're doing this kind of stuff on a Windows?
Yeah, but I built my own computers. So.
Okay, so you're not getting pop-ups and
no.
Okay.
AdBlock Pro.
Okay,
yeah.
All right.
But yeah, no, I build all my computers from scratch. I'm on my second build now, and I've got I've got one 2080 inside there. So I'm looking to upgrade another time to like the 3080 whenever they do come available. Granted, like they came out like last year and there's still none available. I'm not sure if like all the various different like Bitcoin mining farms or something are like speaking for all of them basically, but they're very hard to come by.
Because when you're shooting 5K, you need a lot of RAM.
Oh yeah, storage space. So we ended up getting like a massive like 40 terabyte server that we were just storing all our stuff on, but that filled up real quick, and like we only end up saving like the selects, because otherwise it just becomes overbearing in terms of like the storage capacity.
So you dump it if you don't use it, you dump it.
Well, yeah, I mean you keep the good clips, but
yeah. Now,
gotta be selective.
Now, when you're doing 5K, how much RAM do you need on that computer?
So I've got 64 gigs of RAM.
Whoa,
and,
that's a lot of RAM, boy.
Yeah. No, but I was actually considering doing 120, or what is it, 124, I guess. But
Now that would move.
Yeah, but like even in Ableton, like just using like with enough plugins and enough like effects on something, that'll make your RAM go like out of control. And like I just didn't want to run into any of those issues or any sort of like latency or like buffering issues or anything. And I wanted to be able to export like a 4K product like semi quickly to be able to like turn around or like see if it needs to be edited and like re-exported. Yeah,
Yeah, because it takes forever.
bigger the better.
Yeah, it takes forever. I mean, on 16 gigabytes, it takes forever. I can't even imagine. I mean, I do 4K once in a while,
Yeah.
and that's a big file. And then I have to take it and shrink it. I use a thing called Mojave.
Okay.
It's pretty quick.
Yeah.
And
Handbrake's a good one too.
what's it called?
Handbrake.
Oh, okay. And like you can switch it from, you put the video in, and then you can shrink the file size down without really losing a lot of quality.
Yeah.
Or not noticeable quality. Probably on 5K you would notice it if you shrunk it down, right?
True. I mean, not really. I mean, it just becomes like a very high quality, like 1080p or 4K like output basically. So
okay.
I mean, we always shoot 5K, even if our deliverable is like 1080p or like 4K. Like we're always shooting 5K, like at least.
Damn.
We're running with the Inspire 2, like with the X7 kit on it too. So we get good aerials
You
as
got
well.
some heavy duty stuff.
Yeah, that was our first purchase actually. The Inspire 2.
What'd that run you?
I was about 10, 11 at the time.
Yeah.
So we got that and basically took our droning game to another level.
Yeah, that's a big boy there. That's the big leagues.
Yeah.
So now you were born in Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then how old were you when you came over here?
I was probably about 13 when I came here. Then ended up doing high school here. Went to the Pine School. It's up in Hope Sound, and moved up to Boston. After that, went to Bentley University. Studied there for 4 years. Did managerial economics and like a side of entrepreneurship. And could go either two routes. I could either go to like the New York like Goldman Sachs thing or like Boston properties, like ironically down in DC at the time. But ended up not going those routes and decided to join the family company and start doing basically all the development work. So we were like looking to a lot of really exciting deals at the time because the energy arm of Reindex is actually pretty exciting. Like we were looking into like biomass plants. We've got a biomass power plant up in Canada in Ajax.
What is that?
So basically you burn wood waste, like clean wood waste.
Oh yeah.
So like from construction or from yard debris and any kind of that stuff. So I was lucky enough to be included on their roadshow to go around to all these massive funds around New York to like get these projects financed, and then we also ended up investing in some deep sea offshore wind turbine company called Hexacon, and like basically now they've got like a 1,500 megawatt like deal with South Korea to build like a massive like wind turbine facility basically.
The big wind things?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from up north.
Yeah.
So they're everywhere.
Like they actually took some guidance from like the Cape Wind Project. I'm sure you're familiar with it.
Yeah.
Like basically it was like the Kennedys and everyone on Cape Cod. Like of course everyone likes wind turbines, and if they're in the ocean, oh, even better. But like these guys like didn't want to sit in their $1 million mansions and look out on these like turbines and at their horizon. So we came up with an idea to do, or not we, but the guys behind Hexacon who we invested in. They came up with the idea to put these guys really deep sea. You can't even see them from the shore of wherever you're at, and we maximized the efficiency of them by putting 2 turbines on one floating platform instead of one, which is like basically what everybody else who's doing that kind of stuff is doing.
What were they complaining about? They were complaining about
it was an eyesore basically.
I think it was but with the turbines, they were complaining. They were saying like it was killing birds.
Yeah, I mean I've heard that argument before. Too.
Like the pet people.
Yeah.
Nothing against the pet people, but
I mean, yeah, that's that, and there's a bunch of arguments.
But like an airplane kills a bird.
Yeah, no. Seriously.
Well, actually, the airplane
happens more than you think.
The bird can kill the freaking airplane. You know.
Yeah, let's look at Sully.
Yeah. So, like when you compare Sweden to here, what's the biggest difference you see?
Sweden, I mean, it's a small, very homogenous society, and like if you're working in kind of like the bigger leagues, I guess, so to speak, like everyone knows each other, and like opportunities are a little bit more limited than here. What I liked about coming to Florida, granted, I still love Sweden. It's still like my home country and stuff, and we go there like maybe once or twice a year to stay in the summer house or like go to visit the city and stuff, and like all my grandparents and stuff are still over there. But I forgot where I was going with this.
Well,
But yeah, so
yeah.
Florida, like what I liked about America was basically like the freedom and like finding out like, oh wait, I can actually own a gun here. Cool, because like in Sweden you got to be part of like a gun club and
Oh, really?
shoot every like certain amount of days and got to have a permit and you have to keep your guns at the club or whatever. It's very restrictive, and I just thought that was such a cool concept, and being able to like
Just walk into the, get your
yeah
permit and walk in.
yeah.
But they're real strict on some things, but then they're pretty lenient on others, or they're just strict across the board.
No, I mean they're
I had a
pretty strict
friend that
across the
lived over
board.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's like very regulated and
Like Australia.
yeah.
Australia's tough.
Yeah. Granted, we had a like even with Sweden, like the coronavirus and stuff, like we had a very different approach to it. Just by people were already like kind of evasive of each other and like very in tune with like being like hygiene and stuff. So I think that might have helped initially, and the whole like not shutting down to ruin the whole economy was kind of
because
definitely helpful.
I don't think I heard Sweden one time. You guys didn't get it bad, right?
No, I mean it supposedly got worse, but like for the main part, like we did really good. We didn't have to like shut down our economy and like ruin everything over Rona basically.
Yeah, I thought that was the craziest thing in the world.
Yeah,
But
I mean my 80-year-old grandpa had it and he
did he?
did fine. I mean, granted, like many people aren't as lucky, but it was it didn't seem like it was as bad in Sweden as it was in other places.
How
That
long?
might have even been more restrictive and shut down.
Yeah. How long was he sick for? At 80.
Yeah, a couple days probably.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
a
but
beast.
He goes out
Grandpa,
walking
you're a
every day.
beast, boy.
Yeah, no, I mean he walks probably like a couple miles every single day and like goes picking mushrooms in the forest and stuff.
Oh,
So
does he?
he's a very like nature oriented person.
Now over there, is it like the high? It's like either you have money and you're up there, and then low and there's not really a middle class.
No, it's a very big middle class if anything.
Oh, okay.
And like there's a bit of stigma in like the society in that like if you are doing better, like other people kind of like, oh well, shouldn't be flaunting it or like shouldn't be talking about it because like it's there's a saying, it's like lilla landet lagom. It's like the small country of averages. Like everybody kind of wants everybody to be on the same level, and it's very flat structures everywhere. I mean, even companies like are fairly like flat in terms of like hierarchy and stuff. So it's
it's
very
kinda like-
modern a society, and it's kind of like where America could find itself like in a lot of regards because like they end up executing a lot of things that we kind of toy around with here. It's in good in some cases, bad in others. Granted, like we've been like had a socialist government for the past couple years, and like I'm a moderate, like in the U.S. I'm a Republican, but basically they approach it from a different perspective. Instead of just like tax the rich, like they're more about like keeping business incentives and such alive and allowing people to like actually kind of do business on the higher level and focusing more on like a VAT and like a flat tax structure for everybody with like less loopholes and just like a shorter tax code in general. I mean, you know exactly how much tax you're going to pay because they tell you instead of having to figure it out and like
They go to an account. They tell you. They send you the bill.
yeah.
And then is there a so do they tax by bracket? Is it bracket or it's just flat for if you make $30K a year, you make $3 million a year?
Yeah, that's flat. Yeah.
Oh shit.
And they assume that like basically if you're making more, you're probably buying more stuff, so there's a value added tax and
It's good for the economy.
yeah. I don't know. I believe in it.
We should do that.
Yeah.
They should just be a flat tax straight across.
I mean that's what I think. Yeah. I mean the whole idea that the tax code in the U.S. is like 50,000 pages is just like kind of mind blowing. But
it's insane.
yeah.
And then
But I'm not a tax accountant by any means, so I don't take my advice or anything.
yeah, mine either. But Rob, you got your phone off on airplane mode? The hell is that?
I'll check mine too.
No, it's this one. It's my fault.
Oh shoot.
The guy that. Well, that looks good. Wow, it's static. You hear that static?
Yeah.
That's what it was. Okay, so you do all that, and so yeah, I think the flat tax would be perfect, especially for here, because here when you kill people that are making money, they're not going to hire
No,
anybody.
they're gonna move. You're gonna see like what happened in France, basically. Like I think they were toying around with like a 90% income tax. So you see all the high net worth people just basically mass exiting from the country, and yeah, that's not what you want.
Yeah, and now we're cool with China again.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, that's great. Now, is that good for you in your businesses?
What?
That we're not so shut off with China? Does that help you?
I mean,
It doesn't really make a difference.
no, it doesn't really make much of a difference. I mean, granted, like it might be as a result of the pandemic, but I mean, you are seeing like higher like gas prices, lumber prices, and produce prices and stuff like just as of recent even. So
Yeah.
it's I don't know. We don't involve ourselves on too high on the geopolitical level, but it's definitely some interesting times to be an economist, even for the past 8 years.
Yeah. I saw on your Facebook you said, "I refuse to tiptoe through life and arrive quietly at my death."
Yeah,
I love
it's
that.
been my mantra since I first created my Facebook page.
Yeah. So what do you mean by that?
No, basically make a splash in life and create some ripples. I don't know. I'm not one to just sit in my cubicle and just give up on life or let every idea I have go to waste. It's
Yeah.
I want to take action, see what I can do with what we have.
Yeah, I was talking to Sagman, Alex, and you have to fail. You're gonna fail.
No, I mean, that's experience,
and that's what makes you win.
Yeah.
You know, there's winners and losers.
No, I mean, there's no shortage of failures even in my own life. Just in terms of everything is just trial and error until you find what works for you.
And then sometimes it's always the thing that you think is definitely not going to work.
Yeah.
You try it and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah.
And how many languages can you speak?
So I can get, of course, I can get around in Swedish and English, but I mean, I can get around in Spanish and I know enough to barter and stuff and buy what I need in Chinese.
Really?
Yeah.
You can do those sounds?
Yeah. 我说一点中文.
What the hell does that mean?
So I speak a little bit of Chinese. 我的中文名字叫大海。当时我学中文在 Florida.
What did you just say?
So my Chinese name is Dahai, which means big sea. It was a name that I got from my Chinese Chinese teacher, and he just kind of stuck with me. And then I learned Chinese in Florida.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that the toughest one to learn?
At first, I thought Spanish was more tough to learn because of all the various different conjugations and such.
Oh yeah.
In Chinese, basically, there's no conjugations. There's only a participle at the end of the sentence that kind of determines what the question or statement is, basically.
And it goes by a lot
or
of
if it's today or tomorrow.
Now, is a lot of that by sound?
Yeah, no, it's very intonation based. So the most common example is ma, which can mean, which either is the ending of what your statement makes it a question. So ni hao ma, it's ni hao means hello, ni hao ma how are you. So ma can be the end of a question participle. It can mean horse, it can mean mother, it can mean hemp, or it can be about a curse word basically. So
really?
Yeah.
That sounds easy.
Yeah, no, I've always been into accents and learning different languages and stuff. So my first business I actually started when I was probably around 13, 14 to do web translations basically. So I translated a couple different gaming sites, and there was a social media, I forget what it's called. It's I'm blanking on the name now, but it was the whole thing was
MySpace?
No, it was basically it was people making kind of bold statements and how you feel in regards to that and stuff. I can't remember what it's called now. It was a couple of years ago, but it was basically a social media semi-dating / complaining website.
So everybody could just moan.
Yeah,
right?
Basically. But then I realized, because I was translating for the app for all these different countries, that half of the statuses in the app were all just made up by them to spur engagement, because I guess people weren't making as many broad statements, or not broad, but kind of statements that they were trying to put out there to create engagement.
And that was at 13 you were doing that?
Yeah, so that was
So you were ready for business.
Granted, they didn't know how old I was. I was just a guy on the internet who could
they don't know if you're 50, right? So you were running the game from the gate.
Yeah. I mean, semi. So it was all just fun business while I was in school and stuff. So
yeah.
But it got my opened my eyes to the whole computer world and being online and doing stuff for people wherever they may be. It didn't matter.
Now, out of all these things that you're doing that we'll get through, what's your favorite one of them? Or not what you make the most money on, just which is the one that you enjoy the most?
I mean, it's pretty hard because I really sure I'm busy a lot, but I really love what I do in every regard. Because Wavelength, I love doing productions and shooting films. Granted, I prefer doing creative stuff and shooting short films, or if it's a pitch for a full-length feature film or something like that. Always love doing that kind of stuff. But everything that we do in Index, it's you wouldn't see these kind of opportunities if I hadn't been there from the ground up to just see what's going on. In terms of all of our energy investments and all the multifamily rental development stuff we built here in the U.S. It's very exciting to see wow, my research basically led to this project, or I found this site, and it's
a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, but
right?
it's kind of empowering, I guess.
Yeah. Where you need a needle to pop your head?
Yeah.
I need one every day to pop my head.
Yeah, no, I try to stay humble.
Yeah,
so I'm
me
a
too. I'm
very
just
utilitarian, driven guy. I mean, I drive a 16 seat passenger van Ford XLT right now,
yeah,
which
that's
is
what he was saying.
pretty funny. Ended up inheriting that from our maintenance aviation division,
Cool.
and it's been using that as our grip van for all of our film gear and stuff when we go to gigs.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's funny because you have like the internet side of you, then you have the real estate side of you, basically,
Mm-hmm.
the production side of you, and then you have the DJ side of you.
Yeah, I mean the DJ thing isn't as
I know
active
it's like
anymore,
a hobby,
but
it's just like there's so many twists and
I
turns.
think my last gig was my sister's wedding last year.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Well, but back then when you started it, the rave thing was huge.
Yeah,
that
it
techno
was
thing
huge.
was nuts.
I started off with electronic dance music and then moved into like Moombahton and stuff. So I was part of like the initial like dubstep Moombahton guys that
What's
first started.
Moombahton again?
So Moombahton is like a mix between EDM and what's it called, reggaeton.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, but it's like also with dubstep vibes in it as well. So
I bet those shows were packed.
Oh yeah, no, it was super fun. Like did plenty of like boiler room shows and stuff, and basically like you open the door to the place and like you just get hit with like a wave of heat. Basically, it was always a ton of fun. So I love doing that kind of stuff.
And how long did you do that for?
I mean,
where you were
actively
like
3-4 years.
Really?
Then after that, I just took a back seat to doing the just only production instead. So had a couple different names. I went under Joacim Borg, and then I started another band with a friend in Canada called Night Vision Sunglasses for like retro 80s new future type music.
Yeah.
And then just kind of preferred to do like the dubstep Moombahton thing, and that's why like Hadron was born basically. And
But that wears you out though, right? Because
it's a ton of time, and you're always up late, and like you're listening on your monitor speakers like to the same thing over and over and over again, and it like wears people around you out. And now that I've got a girlfriend living with me,
yeah, I don't think she'd be cool with that.
no,
right? Yeah.
I mean she probably would be, but like
depending on where you're doing it.
depending on
right?
how hard the music is.
Yeah. And you use Windows to DJ?
Yeah, Windows everything.
You're I've had. Do you know Legato? DJ JR, Alex Gregory.
Yeah. So I'll DJ on I prefer CDJ like 2000s because you can just show up with an SD card, plug it in, you're good to go.
Yeah.
But I mean I started with like Native Instruments S4,
Mm-hmm.
then got into the DD. That was my first intro into Pioneer, so the Pioneer DDJ, which was nice because I thought it was a better controller. But honestly, I always prefer like the CDJs because it's no computer screen that you're staring at. Instead, you're just kind of like vibing and checking everybody out and
seeing what they're going for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you know you're doing good when like more people are drinking more and stuff. So.
Yeah. Were you taking requests for anything?
I mean,
not really.
People
I
pretend
guess,
to take
right?
requests and then end up like, oh yeah, let's play it in two songs from now.
I'll get to it. I'll get to it. So now with Wavelengths, you did what? Netflix. You do Tiger Woods' restaurant. What's that? 100 North.
No, that's 1,000 North. That's
1,000 North.
That's not Tiger Woods' restaurant.
That's Jordan.
Yeah. So so basically, fun story behind that. Like the 1,000 North, we were living. We were in the office building right next door.
And that's Michael Jordan's, right? I get the two of them confused.
Yeah. So we're partners with it too. We were part of like the initial. I mean, we bought the land for the site. And then I was leasing out the old building there for probably about 3 years. I did this with the brokerage arm. Probably approached 20 different like serious restaurants I wanted to go in there, but it's kind of funny. Like people would ask me if like that place was cursed, like originally in terms of the land, because like originally it had been a popular place called Charlie's Crab, but then he disappeared to sea, and another group
disappeared to sea.
Well, yeah, no, yeah. He passed away, and they only had one place left in Palm Beach. Someone else took over the restaurant, did like 5 different restaurant like attempts. Nothing really changed with them, and they didn't make it. So like it was one guy doing 5 different brands, basically just changing the name and not much else. So it didn't work out for him, and we took it over. We saw the potential in it, and then redeveloped the whole building.
Oh, you reconned it?
Yeah. Oh no, we tore it down and built it up from scratch. Just like get rid of the old stigma, and it was completely like wrongly designed too. I mean, they had like the trash dumps right in front where people were supposed to enter, and like the bar was facing the office building next door instead of the water, and like the whole layout just not very like useful in terms of servers being able to access all the tables and everything. So we built it to how we thought we would expect people to want to see something nice here in Jupiter, or not here, but like up there in Jupiter, and it's taken off. Like it's pretty cool. It's
And then and then Jordan came in and.
Yeah, so initially I met Ira Fenton and Michael Jordan. Ira Fenton is like the old developer behind the Bears Club and a couple other places, and like he came with Michael Jordan. They toured the place and they checked it out and they liked it. Of course, I had to like ask or tell him that like, yeah, I really appreciate your role in Space Jam, and he's like, oh, that's probably the only thing you know about me too. I'm like, no, I heard you play basketball too. Like,
was he cool?
no, he was super cool. Yeah,
Tall.
Yeah, no, that was the first thing I mentioned. Like, noticed like huge hands.
Yeah, that's why I remember Phil Jackson saying he had the biggest hands ever. Was he smoking a cigar?
No, but that was definitely like a very important part of the club, basically. So, like on the second story, there's like a member area. Basically, our index office is around. There's a donut hole around like the member area, and he was very adamant on having like a cigar lounge type like second story feature. So we of course built that as well, and it's very popular now.
Yeah. So you recon that whole place to the way he wanted it.
Yeah, I mean it was a collaborative effort, but yeah, it's
Now, do you still own the land?
Yeah, we still live in the buildings or live. We basically live there, but my office isn't there. Yeah.
So he pays you the
company does.
He pays the company. Well, his company.
Yeah.
Pays your company.
Yeah.
Is that Index?
Yeah.
Is that the one he's paying?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I've been doing like the leasing management and stuff for those two buildings for the past couple of years as well, just to make sure all our tenants are happy and moving in. And
you did Tiger Woods' too?
Yeah. So. That was a bit of a tangent, but yeah. So like we do the Woods restaurant, like all their content, photo marketing and stuff, and we've got a couple other like we've done frigates like Comcast spot commercial. We've shot a bunch for the Love Street stores and stuff, and then yeah.
Woods' restaurant does pretty good, right?
Yeah.
There was an issue there. What was the issue there? There was something that happened.
I'm not sure.
Do you remember what
happened? I know initially I think it was like some lighting issue. Like I thought.
I thought something happened. Like somebody, like some type of lawsuit or something. Tiger Woods' restaurant. No, I don't know.
I'm not sure. I mean, everyone gets lawsuits when you're like high enough up there, but I didn't hear anything about that one. The only thing I like noticed when I first went in versus like when I came in like later on in the process was. Like I guess the lighting that they bought like wasn't able to dim, so it was like very bright when I first came in there, and then now I guess they've fixed it since.
Yeah.
But great food, and I love the place, and yeah, looks nice.
Yeah, Jordan's got good food too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both good.
No, 1000 North, yeah, it's killer food.
Hard to get in though. Yeah.
I mean, in terms of membership, or
yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's fully subscribed in terms of membership right now, but I mean you can go like eat lunch or dinner there whenever you want. I mean lunch is only Wednesdays to Sundays, but yeah.
Yeah. Good move on the membership. That was a power move.
Yeah, so that was I wasn't expecting that because we've never really like done any sort of membership thing at all before in terms of like restaurant stuff. We've invested maybe like 2 restaurants. It's kind of like a fun side investment thing, and I'm surprised like how well like the membership thing was received because it's really, I mean, it makes sense because they have like massive like wine discounts and tons of really cool events a year, and there's a bunch of cool stuff that comes with the membership, basically.
Oh, I see. So he kind of has it set up like the Breakers. If you're a member of the Breakers, you get the gym, you get a discount on the hotels, which is a shit discount, by the way.
Yeah.
Discount on drinks. So that's how he set the restaurant up?
Yeah.
Or his team, I guess.
Yeah. So that's Ira and like Tucker Frederickson were the main like operating partners behind it.
Yeah. And then is it annual? The membership, is it annual?
Yeah. So it's annual based. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You can't lose there.
No.
Tigers should probably do that.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Harborside might be the play for that, but
yeah, you're right. I know his kid can hit a golf ball.
Yeah, I was really impressive because I didn't even know he had a kid at first, but like my other friend Greg Price, he's also part of the Wavelength group, so he's our creative director. He plays his father's Nick Price, and they played in like the father-son PNC tour.
Yeah.
So like that was when the first time I saw that Tiger Woods had a son, and basically like it's pretty surprising seeing like an 11-year-old hit drives like that.
He was hitting it. He hit some balls better than him.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we put that on, and then I had to cut it because it was on a YouTube thing.
Mm-hmm.
So then it was like a infringement.
Oh yeah. True.
Not like they took it down. I just had to go into Final Cut, find that spot, and chop it up.
Right.
Because I used YouTube. But if I would have played it on like ABC, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But man, that kid can hit that fucking ball.
Yeah,
Holy
it was
shit.
cool to see.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was sitting there, I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
And then he's hitting it better than him, you know?
Yeah, I mean, coaching.
Yeah. Well, you know he's got the best coaches in the world.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I remember hearing like Tiger's dad used to like knock over golf bags and like clap and stuff like whenever you like right when he would hit, just to build up like the mental fortitude to be able to like basically not think about anything around you, like only think about the actual hit.
Yeah, they said on ESPN the kid actually likes soccer, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he likes soccer.
Yeah, it's
But
a fun sport.
I think if he does play golf, I think he's going to be up there. If he's hitting that like that,
He's
at
definitely got
11,
the setup for
yeah.
himself.
But if you don't love it, it's no good.
Yeah.
And then you worked with Netflix.
Yeah.
And this was with Wavelength?
Yeah, it was Wavelength through Radical Media who reached out to us to film some of the Palm Beach like shots for the Filthy Rich Jeffrey Epstein like Netflix series, and that was cool because I didn't know about that it was a Netflix gig at all when we first like until I showed up to the actual site to work with them. Like it was very hush hush because I mean confidentiality and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when we first started the first interview and they started talking about Epstein, like holy shit, this is a lot bigger than I thought it was.
Yeah.
So that was definitely cool. It was like key grip and like a camera assistant on that. So it wasn't.
There's my friend. You know, like they're all discreet until because I guess. Tell me if this is how it works. So, Netflix says, okay, we want to do a documentary on you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they have a production team. It's not Netflix. The production team goes in, films it with those what's it called, reels, like the camera reels. Like they got $1 gazillion worth of.
Oh yeah, they've got all the fun
stuff
equipment. We were using I think Ari's for that one.
Yeah, and camera reels, and that's the one that goes back and forth. And I'm talking, top of I mean cameras that, I mean they're more than.
Yeah, I mean they're more like generally like the cameras we work with are worth more than the cars we drive.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
They're like 100K, 120K, and that's just the camera.
Yeah.
Not the lenses and everything else.
No, it's like hundreds of grand on top of that too.
And he was saying that the way that they do it is they film it, they chop it together, and he showed me pictures of the software they're using. It's called like Armada. You ever hear that one?
No.
Armada.
I know a lot of the guys like industry guys use Avid.
Avid.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say. Avid. Yeah. That's an expense. That program alone. How much is that program?
I don't know specifically, but I know like the base level like Avid kit's like 20 grand to. Like, get
and they don't have the base level. That's for sure.
No.
So he was saying that they film it and then they pitch it to be sold, but somehow that's through Netflix. Is that how it worked in your situation?
So like Netflix had already hired Radical Media to do the whole production. And like I was there as a part of like the reshoot. So they'd shot one version already, which was way too raunchy for Netflix, with like very not revealing, but like very like telling like videos of like girls pretending to drop their panties and stuff. It was like not
like too
very
explicit.
like they were all over 18, but it was just a very like explicit look like. Yeah, short of softcore basically. But,
yeah.
So like they cut out like weeks of worth of footage, and like we ended up just reshooting all the Florida portions again with like without actors instead. So if you see like a door slamming or like an unkempt bed or like a drugged out Vision looking at a fan or something, like that was what I was helping out with.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's out, right? I think I saw it.
Yeah, no. So that came out probably about last year.
Yeah, I think I saw it maybe 3 weeks ago. Wow, that's funny. You were behind all it.
Yeah.
Well, behind part of it.
It was part of a team, so
yeah.
It's larger. Then this past Christmas, over December, like we were shooting for.
Do you think he's dead? I gotta ask you.
I mean, if you're that powerful, I think anything's possible.
He thinks he's dead. I don't think he is.
I mean, it could be very.
I know.
What's that?
I said I know the prison or the jail he was being held in. What happened to him happens all of the time. It only made big news because Jeffrey Epstein. People commit suicide on suicide watch because guards never do their rounds on time.
Okay. Well, here's my problem with his theory. With all due respect, Mr. Dan. Okay.
Call me Dan this time. I'll take it.
All right. Is that one? He was in solitary confinement.
Yeah.
Well, one, he was in MCC.
Why did he have a roommate?
I was getting to that. Okay. So one, he's in MCC, which is in New York. No way in hell should he. I don't care where the crime was committed. It's a federal holdover. you're just waiting to go to whatever prison you're going to go to.
Mm-hmm.
He should have never been put there. That's number one. But they wanted him there for a reason.
Yeah.
Number two, he wasn't in protective custody where you would have a roommate. He was in solitary confinement.
Right.
Solitary means alone, but he wasn't alone.
Yeah.
Then you get some jacked guy doing life already. I mean, the guy was huge that he had him in with, so that's wrong. So now he has they just decided to put some jack dude in there with him when you're probably putting a murderer in there that doesn't take too kindly to kid stuff and everything else.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so that's one. Two, as we said, solitary confinement. Three, the guy wasn't dumb. He might have been a sicko, but he wasn't dumb. Now, if you whack him, right, if I'm trying to protect myself, I'm looking at it as this guy isn't dumb. So he's probably got backup on top of backup on top of backup, and then like the emergency button, where he's got, a bunch of drives hidden somewhere in,
for sure.
because he's
everything
got
in his
that
mansion was videotaped. Literally everything.
everything. So one would have to assume that somewhere
Tapes exist.
tapes still exist,
Yeah.
even though they think they got what they got. He had to, because he's not dumb. He's sick, but not dumb.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, that was all blackmail for all of his like powerful friends and stuff. And
Right.
I don't know. He either definitely got murdered or like might still be alive. I don't know. I'm not one to speculate, but
I think it doesn't make sense because he was in solitary confinement.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have had a roommate.
Correction, he wasn't in solitary confinement.
Yes, he was.
He was in protective custody. Protective custody unit, I promise, at MCC. The reason why he was at MCC is he was never sentenced. That's where the holdover is for the feds while you're waiting.
I still disagree with you. I think they came, pulled him out because they figured he had a backup. Here's some money. You're Fred Flintstone. Go to Belgium and don't come back.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
If I were Epstein, I would kill myself. I don't care how many tapes you got. You're not walking away from it scot-free. And Elena Maxwell has all the dirt that he has. Whatever he had, she has.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
whatever
girl.
happened to her?
She's still going through it. She's in MCC too, in the female side.
Why in the fuck would they put them in there?
Yeah, you'd think higher profile targets like that would kind of be.
That's where they live. That's their jurisdiction.
Yeah, but you're talking about a celebrity that did that. I mean,
That's why it's being this big deal, because it's a celebrity. But this happens every day to regular people. Fuck them.
yeah. Well, my money's on he's alive, but what do I know? I'm
Yeah.
just an idiot that sits here on the microphone.
Submarine, though.
But if I bet, which I don't bet because I don't want to lose.
Yeah, no, I don't do any gambling myself really
Nah.
either,
Just Bitcoin.
except on stonks.
Yeah, stonks. Yeah. Well, I can't believe how high it's going up. I was saying that to Josh Sagman. He was in the other day.
Mm-hmm.
You know him?
No, I haven't met him yet.
Yeah, he's pretty big. And I couldn't believe, he's into some stocks a little bit, and I couldn't believe it. I can't believe the market. Well, it's just going to drop. You know what I mean? Inflation.
Yeah, so that's definitely like a concern that I've been wondering about like the past year now with basically Daddy J Powell like making the printers go burr and us like putting out 40% of the entire U.S. monetary supply in the past 12 months. Like it's definitely gonna have some repercussions to it. So I'm of course like worried about hyperinflation and the like. So I'm a little bit concerned about having like liquid currency right now because you want to either be in like some sort of real estate investment or I mean, even crypto to an extent. Like, it's not investment advice, but that's kind of what I'm seeing as like a hedge against inflation.
So I say gold, diamonds.
Yeah. Granted, like gold is only as valuable as the gold that you have. Because I mean, even look, I think it was like the 60s or 70s. It might have even been further back, but they might even further than that. But like they outlawed gold at some point.
Really?
Like, yeah. So you had to sell it back to the government. Yeah, you have to sell it back to the government for like a fixed price.
Wow, I
And
never
then,
knew that.
Yeah, because like this was basically like the U.S. government was more or less like bankrupt, so they needed cash for the coffers, and like they outlawed gold, so everyone had to sell their gold, and you weren't allowed to like hold it. If they found you holding it, then they could confiscate all of it from you.
Okay, maybe I'll just stick to diamonds then. I mean,
Yeah, but even that's an artificial market too.
yeah.
Zeitgeist.
What's that?
Zeitgeist did a great series on that whole spin, what you just explained.
Yeah.
Who's Zeitgeist?
Zeitgeist does they do one on the corruption of money and how they had to all these people were holding gold and money lost all its value.
Yeah.
So they forced people to turn in. It's like how we're not trying to get people to turn their guns in now. They forced everybody to sell their gold at a fixed price, though. So it was like you're basically just getting completely effed. So he's saying that could happen at any moment. That was,
yeah. I mean, it's happened in the past. Like that's why like the most important part of like anything that you do is just knowing your history and like what can happen, because it allows you to have better expectations of like future events, basically.
Yeah, just plan for the future, right?
Yeah.
And then what did you do for National Geographic? I always watch that.
So National Geographic, it was basically another subcontract gig through this company, Wildstar Films. We were part of we were the Florida shooter squad for what they were trying to capture down here. Basically, it was beautiful destruction was like the main thing that they were trying to show. Like basically the effects on like the mangroves, the beaches, and like the animals that are associated with it, and like how they're affected by like natural disasters or by human intervention and such. So we filmed a couple like manatee releases and made or gave mangroves personality. It was one of the comments when we got back, which was they were really helpful. It was a cool group to work with. We rented some cool gear for that.
That had to be cool, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, just to say you've been part of like a national National Geographic like documentary. Basically, it's a ton of videographers around the whole U.S. like from every different state. We're all contributing to this larger documentary to show like the various different like nature effects and human effects on like the animals and the environments around them. So
I like animals
cool
better than people.
Yeah, no, I mean they're easier to understand.
Unless they don't listen.
Yeah.
Then you can't like talk to them.
Yeah.
You know.
Currently going through some issues like that. Just got a puppy this past week. So if I look tired, it's because we've been trying to figure out the crate training situation for it.
I got a French bulldog.
Yeah.
I got like a show one because I didn't want it to get sick.
Yeah.
Now I trained him, and he listens.
Yeah.
Other than when he's outside, he loves to be outside, out back, and just run around all day. Then I wanted him to have a friend because I was working all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought a Royale Dosal micro mini French bulldog. She was supposed to be like this big.
Yeah.
That's how big it was supposed to be. Well, when I got her, they said, these dogs are 50-50 if they're going to live because they're so small.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got her, she wouldn't eat.
Yeah.
So I actually fed her Irish butter. You know that real thick Irish butter?
What, the Kerrygold or whatever?
Yeah. It's like a green.
Yeah.
And like a little tiny bit. If you put it on, it's like crazy for us.
Yeah.
So I would feed her like a tablespoon 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Just to get nutrients in her to keep her alive.
Huh.
Well, by doing that for 6 months, and she's so little, I was, I couldn't fucking train her. I felt bad, it's this big.
Yeah.
Well, I kept feeding it this, and now it's 3 times the size it's supposed to be.
Shoot.
And no, doesn't listen.
Yeah.
Doesn't listen worth anything, no.
And
Not
you
at all.
Don't got any of that butter?
I got the butter,
Yeah.
but I don't got the listening.
Yeah.
But loving as can be.
Yeah.
But
No,
the French Bulldogs are tough.
yeah.
What kind did you get?
No, we got a mini Australian Shepherd. So
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, I guess they're all the rage now, but we were in between like a Schnauzer, like some sort of doodle mix.
Yeah.
But, mini Australian Shepherds I always liked because they're small, cute, smart dogs. So
And they don't have a lot of health problems either.
No. So like we got it from a breeder. Granted, I've had every other dog I've had has been adopted. So they've all kind of come with their own like issues and such.
Yeah.
So I start off with 2 Yorkshire Terriers, and then now my parents adopted this Pyrenees mountain dog, which is absolutely massive. So
Is that the one with the blue eyes?
It doesn't have blue eyes, but it's definitely a big dog. It looks like a bit of a what's it called, a polar bear.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
It's an old guard dog. The thing is, like, it sounds like it was kept in like a cage outside for a long time, and basically it was like completely apathetic for the first like 3 months that we had it, and then with love and time, of course, like now it's like actually nice and comes to all the people's offices and says hi. So it's a complete 180 from when we first got it.
The toughest thing is that potty training.
Yeah. So like the whole idea behind getting a breeder dog was just like I wanted to experience having a puppy for the like first time ever. Basically,
It's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool.
It's fun, but there's a lot of poop and
a lot of poop, a lot of pee.
Yeah.
And
everywhere. I think she ended up in my bed like for a couple of nights and peed in my bed a couple of times. So.
Stop that, because once they get used to that, they'll like I have a gate so they can't get out of my kitchen, and they will sit there and play as a team trying to get that gate open, and they will. And as soon they get used to that, if that dog gets used to your bedroom, forget it.
Yeah. No, so it's in right now. We've gotten to the point where it's like okay with its crate or like bed. It's got a bed and a crate in my room. So between like the bed crate and the other bed, like it's kind of cute because it'll collect my socks and stuff and like very neatly like store them in its cage.
Yeah.
And bring all its toys inside there. So it's funny to see.
Girl or boy?
It's a girl. So.
She'll start bringing things to you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because the boy doesn't do it, and I had a girl Yorkie,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know what it is about him, but the boy doesn't care. Who cares? Just give me food, feed me, pet me.
Yeah.
But every girl dog I had, they'll bring me something, and it's like their like thing to show you like, hey, thanks.
She'll bring me my slippers and stuff.
Yeah, but like it's like a present.
Yeah.
You know, like
so
you
she'll
think.
bring me like one, so like I need the other one still. Like.
Yeah. Well,
It's
mine.
very cute though.
Mine decides to chew AirPods,
shoot.
Gucci loafers. And, you know, you leave it around, it's done for.
Yeah.
So I would recommend anything valuable, especially while it's growing.
Yeah, no, we have to unplug all of our cords and stuff at night just to mitigate them chewing through cables and like electrocuting itself.
Yeah, and they'll do it.
Yeah.
And they'll get electrocuted and do it again.
Yeah, probably.
They're nuts.
Yeah.
They're absolutely crazy. So, like, what's you hike, right? You
Yeah,
hike and you
so-
camp. I can't see you hiking, especially camping.
Yeah, no. So I mean, just in terms of camping, like me and my buddy Greg, who like works in Wavelength with us, we started off like very Spartan originally, like with one tent and like very few supplies, and just like with the ambition of going out hunting, and with enough trips, like we kept adding to our setup, and now like a couple years later, we've got quite the glamping setup. So I just went out with my dad and his dad and a couple of his like their friends to show them like how we do hunting and camping now, and like they were very impressed about it. So of course they want to go out again. And
Where'd you go to camp?
so we've got some property out in Fort Meade. We're doing like a solar field out there. But until we do that, basically we use it for hunting and camping and stuff. So we'll go hunting for like boar and deer or turkey whenever it's in the season.
I went one time and got bit like crazy,
Yeah.
and that was it. Never
Yeah,
went
you
again.
gotta set up the citronella tiki torches and
Yeah,
the
the
fire
off.
and like all the off. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. It's not for me.
yeah.
I could probably maybe do the hiking. What do you hike up like? What do you hike?
Yeah, so I mean,
it's
I had
really
an
good
ambition.
for you.
Yeah, no, I love that stuff. Like, basically, the more extreme, the shittier it is. Like, the better and more fun I think it is in the long run. Like, especially in terms of like life, just in general. Like, we started off in high school actually with Pine School. Like, we did some pretty cool semi-extreme trips. Like, we went to Costa Rica, hiked in the mountains for like 10 days, slept between two tarps, and ended up at some shaman's house, and like it was some pretty hard hiking. Like we were going through like the Costa Rican rainforest and like getting dumped on like every single day in terms of rain, and nothing was ever dry, and people were actually concerned about getting trench foot, and like that kind of like spurred my initial like sense of like hiking and getting out there and like being just experience the shit basically, and
Just be like in the wilderness kind of type
and like
of thing.
before like I had my last trip. Basically, I tried doing like a hike up Mount Cotopaxi and Chimborazo and Peru and Chile, I believe. It's technically the highest mountain in the world if you measure from like the center of the earth, because like the world is kind of like all
Well,
blonde
Chile
shape.
has that microscope there, right? They got Chile. I think is the closest because that's where they got that huge microscope. Not
telescope,
telescope,
yeah.
microscope. Jesus.
Yeah, so I mean, the trip didn't even end up happening because there was a massive like volcano eruption in Mount Cotopaxi. They're both active volcanoes, and that kind of shut down the trip. It was basically me and a Florida bud and like a whole slew of Swedish people to go there. So that shut the whole trip down. But
To Chile?
yeah,
Oh, that would have been awesome.
yeah. So, but like the trip before that, like I went out with a couple of Swedish guys, like CEOs and kind of stuff, to ski the last degree. It was called, and we ended up traversing the North Pole and ended up
Yeah,
over
I
7
saw.
days.
So explain that to me. So you got to the okay. So you went skiing, and then take it from there because of what you got to.
Yeah, so basically, we started off in Sweden, like just meet the crew and stuff. Then, like got our expectations up for what to expect and like what to train for. So in Florida, like here when we came back, I was pulling tires, like Land Rover tires behind me, like with a like contraption around my whole neighborhood, and basically, like just to build up like the leg strength and everything to be able to pull like an 80 kilo sled like over the North Pole. So did that, came to Sweden, went to North Sweden, Abisko. It's like very, very North Sweden to like test out all of our gear, and ended up like freezing my like hypothermia on my toe. So I was like questioning if I could even like go to the North Pole after that, because like it was a hard lesson in life, basically, to figure out like what exactly we had to do and like how to stay warm. Basically, just like keep moving all the time. And then we like 2 weeks later, we ended up flying up to Svalbard, like getting our gear together, and then we took a Russian like Antonov jet and landed on the ice. Like the North Pole is just like a big floating piece of ice. It's there's no landmass to it.
Nothing.
So like we're landing a jet in between trash bags on an ice runway, and like the ice hadn't been like that thin in like multiple decades, basically. So like the first round, or the first trip that the Russians took out there to like make this like ice runway for us ended up failing. They had to move the site of the Borneo ice base because basically they dropped one of those bulldozers by a helicopter, and it ended up falling through the ice, and they had to fly back to Russia to pick up a new bulldozer so they could land
Holy shit.
the jet with all the new supplies and stuff, because otherwise like they couldn't get any of the supplies in, because the helicopter just comes in, like clears the runway, and then the plane lands with all the stuff. So did that, and
what, that was at the tip of the North Pole?
no, so like Borneo ice base is probably right around like what would be like the 89th degree ish. So it's
What's it called?
the Borneo ice base. So it's a Russian base, which originally used to be like a French base, but the Russians kind of came in with guns and told them to kindly leave.
Type that in, Rob. How do you spell it?
Borneo, Borneo ice base.
Borneo.
Yeah. So that's where we headed out from. Just ice base.
You see it?
No, just type in ice base after it. Oh, okay, with an A, I guess.
Wow, look at that.
So usually you would start from the ice base and go to the last degree. But,
So that's like what you landed, like that?
yeah, that was the exact same plane that we landed in.
Wow. Okay, so then what happens from here?
So basically from here we would either start skiing from there to head to the North Pole, but the whole ice sheet was floating in the wrong direction, because there's an Austrian group that had gone out the week before us. Basically you got one very short period that you can actually go out there that's like light and have thick enough ice to be able to traverse on, and that's basically like mid-March to like end of April if you're lucky.
So like right now, where were you at here? You were right here?
Yeah. So basically, because like the ice sheets were floating in the wrong direction, these Austrians, they've been doing the trip for like 12 days, and they ended up being further away from the North Pole than when they first started. So
Okay,
we
yeah,
took a Russian helicopter to the opposite side of the world, basically, and ended up skiing the last degree, which took about 7 days, probably about 90 miles worth of skiing
Wow.
to get to the pole. But like a lot of the environment looks exactly the same. I mean, it's like flat and icy and snowy until you get to a place where like the ice sheets have crashed into each other and create like big icy structures you have to kind of like traverse and like carry and pull your 80-kilo sled through, which was like pretty insane. I've never it's negative 67 degrees out there too, like not including like wind chill.
Negative 67?
Yeah, so that was definitely like an extreme trip. But,
Were you prepared for that type of temperature?
No, I mean no one can really prepare for like that cold, because I mean you just generally haven't experienced it. But I think they had somewhat similar in like the Chicago polar vortex, I guess. But I mean still, it wasn't that crazy. I mean one night we would stop skiing because like they hadn't frozen over entirely, because like some sheets had just like spread apart, so we had to like camp to wait for the ice to freeze so we could cross it. Like even if it's like 2-inch thick ice, which should carry, you still gotta like all walk like spread apart and like your legs apart and like to distribute as much weight as possible.
And you have an 80-kilo...
but it's on a sled, so like it's
yeah. Well, I guess it's not really pushing on it, right?
no, but it still gets heavy after a while. So
you camped in minus...
yeah,
50,
we were sleeping
60
like
degrees?
on like not even cots, on like a foam mattress, like right on top of the snow, basically, because we just like our tents were just for like wind covering.
Because it's windy there, right?
I mean, yeah, some days like towards the end, like the last 2 days were actually like quite nice, but like the whole name of the game was just like temperature control, being able to like you always wanted to be cold, because like if you sweat or like go warm or anything like that shit turns into ice, and like you basically the only way to dry it out is like if you take it off and hang it up to dry, like it'll be as hard as rock like pretty much like, within an hour. So I screwed up the first day by basically just like overexerting myself and being too cold to like eat or drink anything. So I did like everything wrong the first day, and that was like a quick lesson in not doing that stuff basically. So I had to like wear all my like sweaty gear to like my sleeping bag, and that was the only way to dry it out. Like I went through probably like 2 sets of gloves because like they just froze entirely. There was rocks.
You only have one set of gloves on in minus 65 degrees?
Well, no, you've got like the inner glove, and you got like the over glove of it over it too. But
is your hand still freezing cold?
I mean, you want to be freezing cold, because if you're sweating, like it's even worse, because like that's basically like death if you can't like stay dry or warm basically.
It's over.
Yeah, and like you fall in the water, you got like a minute to live basically. You got to get out of your clothes and into the new set like right away.
Did anybody with you fall in the water?
No. So like there was 2 times that were like very scary, very close. Because like it was actually the first day, and made me like almost like reconsider the whole trip. Like, can we call the Russians to get out of here? Like, this is like terrible. Because we had to hike like 3 hours in the wrong direction to be able to like jump across a river, I guess, between 2 ice sheets that was like thin enough to be able to like jump across. So that was definitely scary, because I mean you fall down like literally it was like probably like 1.5 meters like between them, but like if one was a little bit higher than the other side, so like we had to run and like get across there, which was like kind of nuts. And then like the whole traversing across like this 2-inch like thick ice, which was newly frozen since like the day before, was also like we did that for probably like 2-3 kilometers. So that was kind of sketch.
So how many days was this freezing cold process for?
So we did that for 6 nights and 7 days.
Damn, man.
It was but
if you're not stronger after that, I don't know what's going to make you stronger.
No, so it was a real I guess challenge in terms of just like personal like fortitude and stuff, and being able to like mentally like push your way through it. Because like the first day, like after the first night of just like sleeping in my cold sweaty gear, and like having to wake up, like I finally got warm and like managed to sleep like an hour or two like before like the guy came and woke us up, like and what he did, like, like it's time for breakfast, we got to get going now before like we got to make as much progress during the day as possible. So he would just like open up my tent to like the Arctic winds, and it's either like freezes that slow, or like get your shit on and like start like doing circles around the camp to like stay warm, because that's the only way like you can actually stay warm truly. People think it's all about layers, but also it's like mostly about physicality and
stay moving.
Yeah.
Now that hypothermia that you got, do you have any effects from that now today?
Yeah. So like my nose, my fingers, and my like 2 of my toes, like I will always get like super cold if it's like very cold outside. But other than that, like I didn't have feeling in my feet for probably like 3-4 months afterwards. But everything came back, and yeah, it's
still
better for it. But
yeah.
definitely the shittiest part of the trip was trying to basically like use the bathroom in the basically in a big open icy field that you like dig yourself. So like if you take your gloves off, it's after 15 seconds, like it's basically like painfully cold, like excruciatingly cold.
Yeah.
So like you finish your stuff and you go into your pocket to like grab the toilet paper, and at that point it's already like, oh shit, I can't even.
You can't feel.
So you're standing there with
like
like, and I had like you have your butt flap open, so
yeah.
like, I thought for sure I was gonna like freeze my ass off, quite literally.
Yeah, freeze your ass off.
Yeah.
Putting your ass out.
Yeah,
yeah,
basically.
Take a dump. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But like there was a couple of other people, like they weren't part of our expedition, but part of like expeditions that went out at the same time. Didn't fare as well. There was one lady and like an instructor or a guide rather who ended up losing a bunch of fingers because
really?
Yeah, they froze off basically.
Yeah.
So like they had to cut their trip short. We were the only expedition that actually made it to the pole.
Really?
Yeah, and there was another dog sledding expedition, which it was some Americans had massive freaking dog sleds, huge, and they had probably 20-something dogs. But like a lot of the ice sheets and stuff had become so cracked and so thin that they couldn't actually even like finish the trip themselves.
The dog can handle the cold?
Yeah. I mean, they love that stuff.
Well,
like,
they adapt, right?
Yeah. So like up in Svalbard and like northern Sweden and stuff, like you see them just like sleeping in the snow and just like playing around, like they're outside in the snow all the time.
minus 60?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's adaptation.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. But there's wolves and everything up there, right?
Wolves? No,
yeah.
the only thing you see is polar bears, and that's really scary when you do, because basically they've got no natural predators, and like if they come to see a tent or something they don't recognize, what the first thing they do is like they'll stand up on their rear legs and just like try to push it over, see like what'll happen to it basically. So like a guy the year before, like I think it was like a German squad or something. They did it. So we went during like 24 hours of light, like in April, March. which made things a lot easier because like being that cold and also having to deal with darkness. It's either like entirely dark or entirely light, basically, when you do go there. And like they got attacked by a polar bear, or a polar bear that started sniffing, like got inside their tent and basically like pulled the guy out, like basically
Drug him out.
drug him out and like carrying him by his head basically. Yeah, he ended up making it, but like his friend had to, like, in the middle of like complete darkness, had to assemble the rifle and like took a couple shots at it, like just shot him in the ass and like basically pissed it off, and they started charging him, and then eventually he finally got it. But like it could have gone a hell of a lot worse because the polar bears are like the only real danger there. We would set up, it's not a minefield we set up, but it's basically like contraption that's hooked up to a firework to, like, if they cross this like line, basically it shoots a firework and should scare them off.
To scare them off, yeah.
Yeah, and like we had a bit of a like a polar bear scare in the very beginning of the trip because like right when we had landed at Borneo Ice Base, there was like a polar bear mother and like her cubs.
Oh yeah, you don't want to fuck with them.
No, and it was surprising to see them so far inland, like inland, like on the ice, because usually they hang closer to the waters to like fish for seals and that kind of stuff. But like that was way further in than like they'd normally ever seen polar bears. So it was.
So what happened with the polar bear that you had to scare?
No, so we didn't have to scare any, but like basically like right when we landed, we saw like a whole family of polar bears.
Right from the gate you saw.
Yeah,
and
we're
you're
like,
like,
holy
oh
shit!
shit,
So like,
here we
if they're
go.
already moving this far in to like try to find food, then like they're pretty desperate.
Yeah.
Which was
now,
nuts.
They'll eat people.
Sorry.
They'll eat people.
Oh, anything's on the table. Yeah.
Really? I figured, but
they're very like opportunistic eaters and stuff. So like, I guess in Alaska and places like in the north where like their nature kind of like clashes with like human nature and stuff. It's like they'll go look into trash cans and whatever else. Or, I mean, even bears here in Florida. I mean, Orlando. Like we were at a meeting like with some commissioner guy, and like he was late to the meeting by like an hour because like he had to deal with some lady getting her face ripped off and like killed her dog because like like they'd built communities into this place which was like popular for like brown or was like black bears where they used to live. So
now, when you got to the top of the North Pole, was there anything cool to see, or was just you got to the top?
No, basically it might have been the place we started from because it's largely just like large open empty expanses and just like desolate icy like desert basically.
So now when you were there, I mean,
we had a GPS basically telling us when we were going to be there. But granted, like it's not the magnetic North Pole. The real magnetic North Pole is in like northern Canada. So this was just like the geographic North Pole.
Geographically, yeah. And what's your feeling on climate change?
I mean,
not the political,
Yeah.
just factual.
I mean, with the whole like ice thing, like that's definitely like a real thing. It's observed and like we saw it like firsthand. Like even comparing between like my dad's partner did the same trip a couple years before, and then we did it. So like I'm sure it comes and goes in waves and stuff, but like I mean we're seeing like some effects of it down here with like Miami basically sinking and like I mean sea levels are gonna rise.
Is it really sinking?
I mean, like have you like if you see them during like any hurricane or like massive like storm and stuff, like the whole city basically floods. So it's I don't know. I mean, it's definitely something to keep track of because it's
Yeah, I grew up here looking at the beaches now on the erosion of where the beach stops and ends. We used to have a lot more beach.
Yeah. No, I mean Jupiter Inlet specifically, but like that's not a natural man-made inlet, so I think that's why we get a lot of like beach problems like around up in Jupiter area because it's the water's going so quick, so it pulls like all the sand around it, like and that's why they got to keep dredging it all the time.
Yeah, it just seems like with the climate thing, it just seems like this has happened throughout history. Like this is nothing new.
Yeah, no, I mean
it's a great way to make money off of it, but
yeah, I mean if anything, like we're probably closer to like a global ice age than anything else, but it's yeah, I don't
that's
know.
why we got Elon
I don't know
Musk.
enough about it. Yeah,
That's why we got Elon.
Yeah, but like we believe in the whole like green energy thing as well because like it's the more sustainable way to go forward, and like with our Hexacon's like partnership with Shell for the South Korea like deep sea offshore wind turbines, it just proves that basically like these old like huge players within like the oil space are also like realigning their future business plans and like more sustainable like energy production.
So you think everything eventually will be electric?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, even now we're seeing like with major shifts in terms of the automotive industry, with like you got the Teslas, you got the Nikolas, you got the Velar, whatever.
Apple's supposed to come.
Yeah.
I know you hate them, but they're saying
I don't hate them. It's just like I don't choose to use them.
You don't go into the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're saying 2024.
Yeah.
Car looks badass. You might want it, but that should be some shit.
I saw some like initial picture of it. It looked pretty cool, but
yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't.
I know you're against the ecosystem. I'm hooked in it. I'm hooked, synced, and lined. I'm done for.
Yeah. No, I'll go for the DeLorean of our time instead. Basically, the Cybertruck.
Yeah. The DeLorean.
Thinking either like matte green, matte black, or like chrome, exterior.
You need to make a Back to the Future car.
Yeah, that's basically what it's gonna be.
We got to get Doc.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great movie.
Put one of those like what do they call those? Flux capacitors.
With the plutonium, right?
Yeah.
Is that how I say plutonium?
Plutonium.
Yeah. And then he comes and gets shot up.
Yeah.
What a great movie.
Yeah.
2 was good too, but number 3 sucked.
Yeah, I mean, I liked all of them. They're classic films
2
at this point.
Well, I think they the second one was based on what 20. I forget, but it was supposed to have
I mix them
happened.
up, but like
I was expecting a hoverboard by now, not like these hoverboard, like one that has can lift me up.
Yeah, so I mean that would have been of course like preferable, but like I'm fairly happy with like have you heard of the one wheel maybe or?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
So I saw one for the first time. I was at a like real estate conference, National Multi-Housing Conference, and we were in San Francisco at the time. And basically, I was going to my hotel, and this guy just like rides on this one wheel like electric skateboard. I'm like, holy moly, I need one of those.
Yeah,
like, that is so me. So like, I bought one, like rode around Jupiter a bunch, and then like I got the newer one, and still been riding around Jupiter. I used to ride that thing to work every single day.
They're
like,
badass.
Yeah, and then like now I'm seeing a ton more other people like driving around town. I'm like, I like to think that was like the initial guy to do that.
What's that?
Are they fast?
So the newer one will go like 21 miles an hour, but the older one went like maybe 14 or so, I think. So the new one's got like 20 miles an hour. It goes like 17, like in terms of distance, like 17 miles, which is like super impressive. You can get most places that you need to get within 17 miles, which is great.
I messed around on the lower version one that you're referring to. You don't need more than 21 miles. It's not easy.
I think it's like 20 miles per hour, but like I ended up going 21 miles per hour on it and like basically like getting launched off of it, and it was like right in the middle of the US 1 would it be A1A like bridge up in Jupiter. I ended up doing like a massive fall and like sprained my ankle really bad. Couldn't basically like, run for like a year after that.
At least it wasn't 95.
Yeah.
or okay. Or
I mean, I'm not suicidal.
Yeah. You're not suicidal yet, right? Yeah.
So I like to keep it within like my current commute right now is like all of 4 minutes. So my little bubble that I live in between like basically Doondog and Thousand North is for the past like 2-3 years has been fairly manageable in terms of either just like driving or biking or like taking the one wheel and stuff. So
yeah,
it feels a little bit safer.
So now we'll get to all your companies. When you what's your day like? You wake up, your average day. What time do you usually? I always ask like very successful people like you that have accomplished a lot. You're young. You're from another country.
Getting there. It's in the process, working on it.
You're getting there. You own the land that Michael Jordan has his restaurant on. What do you own? What's with Tiger? You open
that's just we do the content marketing for him basically.
So you do the marketing for Tiger. You own the land and recon the building for Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
You have Wavelength where you're messing with Netflix, National Geographic. What the hell else? I mean, and you're doing real estate with not $40,000 houses, by the way.
No, it's big communities. We've got some exciting new developments going on. We just got unanimously approved by West Palm Beach to build a 231 unit, I guess mid-rise 8-story building in West Palm. So that's gonna be a fun new development coming out.
Where's that going?
Do you know where Center Park is?
No, I'm terrible. Like, give me like a building.
So Center Park, it's about like 10 minutes like west. Not even like 5 to 10 minutes west of like downtown core West Palm.
Oh, cool.
So we were building, or the idea there is to build like a young working professional, like modern with tons of amenities and like a 7th floor pool deck for people moving down here and like looking for work, because there's no shortage of like ultra luxury everything left and right, but can't forget about like everyone else who like also works around here.
Yeah. Now, are you gonna lease or lease and sell?
No, so it's just rental. So basically, like,
Car rental.
so our business plans between the U.S. and Sweden are basically flipped. So in Sweden, we only build condos because you have the problem with like rent, what's it called, rent control over there. And then here, we tried doing one condo, but it just took way too long to do and sell out. So we kind of stuck to multifamily rental developments and assisted living and like limited industrial manufacturing / logistics.
So what you're building now in West Palm will be how many places?
That's 231 units, like average
Okay.
square foot about 934, I think.
And what you have like single bedroom, two
Yeah,
bedroom,
single,
three bedroom,
double,
four.
3.
You go up to 3.
Yeah. But like, I mean, most popular nowadays are generally like the studio 1-bedroom apartments. And then another development we're working on right now, which is going to be done probably in like March, April, which is the Point on West Shore, which pretty exciting. It's got a 444 unit multifamily rental development.
Yeah, that's a big boy.
At the
there.
bottom of bottom of Tampa, so it's like Port Tampa City basically. It's gonna be nice. It's like right next to MacDill Air Force Base, which is like 20,000 people working at it daily. But we were the last real development that's able to go in and develop without all the new impact fees they just instituted. So basically, like they put a cap on like development after our project. So
What, Tampa did?
yeah, so like now you got to pay like $20,000 per unit in impact fee to be able to like develop anything further.
I had a bar in Ybor. Oh my God!
Yeah.
I thought it was bad here. Permit after permit after permit after permit, and I mean parking permit.
Yeah.
I mean it was crazy. You want to hear a funny story, a nightmare? I get this bar, I build it out. Ybor, right across from the baseball stadium. Do you know what I'm talking about?
It's
like
like
there-
Ybor City, yeah.
Yeah, Ybor City. There's like a strip, all the clubs. Got the liquor license, got the beer license, the whole nine. Across the street is the baseball stadium. So I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
winning concept.
It's a win, right? Recon the whole thing. I mean, big time recon.
Yeah.
A lot. Get everything set up, lighting. We got DJs coming in. We got bands coming in, like live bands. So
Yeah.
like it fit everybody. We had a little bit of a kitchen, so you could eat, drink, vape. We had a little vape shop in there too.
Yeah.
So we're doing it maybe, I don't know, 4 months, crushing it. Now, haven't paid back the capital yet, because a lot went into it, but we're crushing it. Boom. We get word that they're knocking down a building that, like the baseball field was like, say, here.
Mm-hmm.
And then right here was like another just dummy building with like a parking lot. Well, we get word that in 45 days they're gonna close the road that we're on, Ybor City.
Yeah.
The hottest, and I forget what street it was, but it's the one that everybody goes to party. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna close that road off because they decided that they're gonna build a parking garage.
Wow.
6 months
Thanks,
into
guys.
that investment. So 3 months later, I had a partner. I said, look, this is because we kept going to him. How long is this going to take? Well, it could take a parking, they were doing a big parking garage, not like one down here in West
Right.
Palm.
One of those like.
I mean,
high-
that fucking thing could take 3 years to build,
Right.
with all the permits. So I talked to my partner. We tried to just get the capital back that we put into it. We broke even on that one. The day that we were like even on the capital,
Mhm.
which wasn't easy because now we had to spend more on promotion because the
Just get
road's
people
closed.
to a place that's already like shut down.
Yeah, so we had people because
made you a destination instead, which is always hard to work from.
we had to do like the dummy thing where like hold the sign, like the cheesy thing. Have guys like on every street with signs.
That actually works, or
Yeah, it worked. It worked, but they would just want cash, $5 an hour to stand there with the sign and a beer if you want, whatever you want. And we would have them on like 3-4 streets. We had 10 guys doing it every night just to get people over
yeah,
to hit that capital. And then once we hit the capital, boom, sold it.
yeah.
At
At least you were able to make your money back like on it. So
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
not
we were
entirely sunk cost, but
Yeah, but it was tough. It
Yeah.
was tough and a lot of work. But how you want to talk about bad luck?
yeah, no, that sucks. I mean, you can't do anything about like when other like external factors like come in like that.
And what was crazy was when we were looking around, we said, look, we even said to the people around that we were dealing with, is there any type of construction that's going to be built anytime soon? No construction.
Brokers trying to get commissions,
Are
basically.
you sure? Because when you build any type of business and you're going to like recon something,
Yeah.
you start closing roads, construction, whether it's a main road or not, you're going to get killed.
Yeah.
So we went to that. I even went to a foreman that was working on another parking lot. Like maybe he was in St. Petersburg.
Mm-hmm.
but they they all know everybody. I said, is there anything going to be going on in Ybor? No, they're not doing nothing.
Yeah.
6 months later, and while I'm telling you, they were like, all of a sudden, road closed, trucks, cement trucks. I mean, it was just it was a nightmare.
No, that sucks.
It was terrible.
Yeah, no, there's a ton of investment going into Tampa in general. I know, Bill Gates and his crew, like they probably put in like $8 billion into redeveloping the downtown city core and like the stadium and everything around there. So it's definitely no shortage of capital going into Tampa, and like I think you're seeing a lot of like West Coast like tech jobs and stuff, like especially now with everything basically being digital and like work from home. Like a lot of people are wanting to take those like West Coast like tech salaries and like live in like Florida, like priced like living basically. So you're like a third of the cost of like living out in LA, if less even maybe, and yeah, just better state tax incentives. I mean, I'm all about Florida. It's a great place to be.
Florida, Texas, and Delaware.
Yeah.
But Delaware's too cold.
Yeah. No. So we came for the weather, stayed for the business, and Florida.
Appreciate the taxes.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely appreciate the taxes here.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah. So now, what do? You sponsor race car too?
Yeah. So my one of my brother's friends that he used to play in a sandbox with, like they kind of grew apart, and then like happened to run into each other like multiple years later, and basically like at that point he was already like on the fast track to get into like faster racing, and like he started off in like go-karts, and basically over the course of 4 years went from go-karts to IndyCar, which is basically unheard of. So Oliver Askew is I helped put together his pitch deck and get his marketing together for him, and like followed him along basically throughout his whole like career throughout Indy Lights and IndyCar. Like we helped him get funded to get his first car into Indy Lights when he was driving for Andretti, of which he ended up winning the whole series, which was like super unexpected. I mean, I believed in from the start, so like I knew it was going to happen, but in terms of just like having a guy in front of you and talking about all this racing, I'd never even like dove into racing or anything like that before, so I never really like understood like the technicality and like how like
it works.
Yeah, basically.
So what's the name of that type of racing? That's not.
So this one right here is Indy Lights. So we ended
Indy
up.
Light, yeah, those are cool to watch.
Yeah, so that's I mean they go like 210 something miles an hour. So he won the whole division and graduated and got picked up by Aaron McLaren and like got into IndyCar, and
McLaren picked him up.
Yeah, well, Aaron McLaren. So it's a combined team,
like an umbrella.
Yeah, so like as we're seeing now, like there's a lot more focus on like IndyCar versus like say Formula One, because like basically Formula One you're seeing it's always Lewis Hamilton winning.
Yeah,
and like the budgets are just like out of control. I mean, you're spending like $300 million a year just to be able to race in Formula One. And like in IndyCar, like it's basically like $6 to $7 million a year to be able to race your 15, 16 races, and like there's a lot more competition, a lot more like you never really know who's gonna win, and it's a lot more competitive. So it's
But those fans are loyal fans.
Yeah, no, and like now like with more Swedes and more internationals like making into the IndyCar realm, like it's gaining like international acclaim basically, and like I was looking at the most recent pitch deck for Andretti, and they're saying like basically 140 million people like watch this stuff every single year.
I believe it.
And it's growing sport because it's gaining more and more popularity with like the decline of Formula One basically.
They just don't push it enough. They don't. In my opinion, they don't push it enough.
Yeah, I mean, like it was one of the few sports that people still like kind of could tune into, and like it wasn't entirely like dependent on having like spectators and stuff, but just being in front of it and being in like the pits and seeing everything going on is definitely like a lot more fun than watching on your TV screen.
Yeah, and loud, right?
Yeah.
Those things are loud as can be.
Yeah, no, so like you're going to turn one, you're going like 240 miles an hour. It's like they're riding by the seat of their pants. These Indy cars are actually faster than Formula One cars.
Yeah.
So like Formula One cars, they'll maybe get up to like 200-ish, but like it's usually like road courses. You never like.
I'd rather watch that than NASCAR any day.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, me too.
I know NASCAR guys, and they are loyal. They've been loyal for like 50 years.
Yeah.
They spend money on everything, and those guys, I mean, they make money. It's like golf. It's like NASCAR reminds me of golf.
Yeah, kind of. No, so I guess I always kind of had like a bit of a stigma toward like against like NASCAR when I was growing up because like, oh well, there's all just a bunch of cars driving in a circle, like who cares, like. But then you actually like dive into the whole like atmosphere basically, and it's just incredibly impressive like how small like a tiny little adjustment will be change the whole performance of the car, and just like how you maneuver it. It's very impressive.
See,
It's a symphony basically.
Yeah, see, I haven't been in the pit, but I'm the same way. It's like I sit there and I'm like, wait a minute, let me see what I'm doing. This is how I felt with golf before I started doing business and realized that even if you hit the ball in the water 100 times, to make a business deal, a lot of times you got to go golf.
Yeah, you get catfished a lot.
Yeah, I went and got tailor-made clubs and just practiced enough where I could hit it straight and not look like a total asshole.
Yeah.
So when I went to make a deal with the engineering or whatever it may be, I didn't look like a total asshole.
Yeah, no, true. And there's no shortage of like business guys that want to meet up and like play golf, like round of golf and stuff with you. So
and then you can make big deals.
Yeah, no, and like a lot of the bigger deals happen just when you're out like having fun, so to speak, I guess.
Yeah, but I sit there and I watch these cars go in circles, and I'm like, 30 minutes later they're still going in circles.
Yeah.
But I haven't been in the pit, you know what I mean? So I might watch it like at the last 10, because I'm not going to sit there for
that's
4
what it boils down to anyways.
Yeah, but if I was in the pit and saw what they do, I would have a different appreciation for it, I'm sure.
Yeah, and just like seeing underneath the hood of all this stuff and like how optimized everything is.
It's really a big hustle too. I have a good friend that works with the NASCAR circuit. He travels he's one of the tire guys, and he sells tires to, because a lot of these smaller companies, these groups, they can't afford the like top dog tires, so they're buying used tires, and he's peddling tires like a drug deal.
Yeah,
because it's illegal.
Huh. Yeah, because like in IndyCar and like Indy Lights and stuff, like there's usually a tire sponsor that like supplies the tires to the entire field. So it's in the past it's been like Hankook or like Cooper tires for the most part.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's how it is.
Yeah. But he ended up just winning like the Daytona 24-hour, which is really cool. So they raced for literally 24 hours. It was like
24 hours.
Yeah, it was 4 different like they switched off between 4 different drivers, and they were basically like almost 2 laps ahead of like the guy behind him because like they were just running their whole game so efficiently.
Jesus.
So he just walked away with like a nice new Daytona Rolex.
Can you imagine driving that for 24 hours?
No, I mean they drive in like 4 or 5 hour segments, but
yeah.
No, I don't think anyone could be able to take
24 hours straight. Yeah, right? That'd be killer.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right. So let's see what Mr. Man of Everything has going on here. Okay, so this is your Facebook. Those lenses.
Oh, yeah. So I was...
These are murder.
I was looking to sell. That was my Rokinon lens kit. That was a first lens like kit that I bought, and then I ended up just keeping it anyways because... I don't know. I've got Sony cameras because I bought them for my Sony cameras, but then we got the Red and we got the exact same lens kit for the Red too. So I was thinking about selling mine, but ended up not needing. Well, ended up just keeping it anyways because like why not? It's like a couple $1,000 worth of lenses.
Where are you at? Oh, this is Sweden.
Yeah, Sweden. So that's back when we did. We flew down to Copenhagen, me and my girlfriend, and did a road trip from Copenhagen. We got a southern Swedish like farmhouse and went and checked out all the sites over there. And drove to Stockholm and like went to my sister's wedding. So like one of the few bliss periods in the past like 2 years where I can just like without any sort of anxiety just like run around with a camera and like kind of take nice shots. So that was when he finished. Basically, when he won the Indy Lights, what's it called? At the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, he won by 67 thousandths of a second. So it was the 4th closest finish in IndyCar history.
Jesus.
Yeah. So it was cool. But like I filmed. It was like magic. It was like a fairy tale basically like the whole day. Because like I showed up with my Sony on a gimbal like to just follow him around and like kind of document the whole day, not expecting anything. Just kind of like it's another race. And just like following him around, like him getting ready and like just suiting up and like listening to dubstep on the way in. And like it was just like a level of confidence and the cool like I haven't seen anywhere else.
Yeah.
And basically, like it was like no question in my mind. Like, yeah, of course this guy's gonna win. Like, and
he's a beast.
Yeah, but he seemed like almost more excited about like the Skrillex show afterwards. Like,
yeah.
because Skrillex was performing in like the center of the ring there at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Oh wow.
So like it was,
So it was big.
yeah, it was cool to see just like that the cool headedness like going into like having to drive 240-mile-an-hour like around a track for like basically an hour and a half. So it was pretty like super impressive because like it started off basically with one guy crashing. I forget what his name is now, but crashed and almost like caused Oliver to crash too because
What race was this?
This was Indianapolis Motor Speedway basically.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Indy Freedom 100. So then he basically slayed the whole rest of the season, and then like once he got into IndyCar, he was doing really hot. He was probably always in like the top like 4 to 10. And then he ended up getting like another guy skidded out in front of him, and basically like he was in the middle of overtaking someone, and basically caused him to spin out as well and like hit the wall at like 240 miles an hour. Ooh. So like everyone was expecting the worst. I was having a watch party at like this was during pandemic, so none of us could actually be out there. So we saw this happen like live basically as it was happening. Like holy shit! Like
do you
this
have a
guy's
picture
like
of
broken
it?
his leg or something.
Is there a picture on that?
Yeah, I mean just look at Oliver Askew IndyCar crash. So that was super scary, and basically he got a massive concussion and like wasn't able to race for the next couple of races, and kind of like ended up losing his position on that team like as a result, even though he had like.
Did anybody else get hurt or just him?
No, I mean there was another crash as well, but he didn't hit the wall as hard as Oliver did, which was super scary.
Okay, yeah, I want to see that. Now type in what?
The Oliver Askew IndyCar crash. OLIVERASQEW. Or KEW, yeah. Here, let's try this.
Yeah, that doesn't look good.
No, so that was pretty insane, which basically like cut his season short. But now there's another chance at this year, so looking forward towards that.
Wow, hey, he made it through it.
Yeah,
I don't think too many people are going to make it through that kind of crash. But
no, I mean,
but
like,
those cars are built for that, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, especially now, like with all the additional like safety features and such, like even with like the new windscreen, basically like being like covering the driver from like if they have another car like land on top of them or like get like decapitated from the tires and stuff, like it like mitigates that, and there's like a glass screen now instead. So before they were just like open car racing, like you're just sitting out there with the elements, like the wind gushing in your face, which is just like insane that you're sitting outside doing that at those speeds.
The technology and
yeah, so the safety is like definitely increased over the years, but I mean, like there's always like rare circumstances and stuff for that. So like that's always like that like the terrifying aspect of it, because it is going so fast, like literally like split second decisions all the time. So it's I don't know, I can't like pledge much enough like how impressive like the whole feat is, of especially like because the whole idea that basically he didn't come from like a lot of these other racer guys, like they come from like rich families and they like have like unlimited investment behind them to like basically like, oh, try it. Like the average person like that gets an IndyCar, they've been racing for like 8 years and like trying to like work their way up the levels, and you managed to do that in 4 years. He's 23 years old racing IndyCar with like legends like Scott Dixon and like Hunter Ray Thompson and like all the Andretti's and such. It's I don't know, just like nuts. This is like some guy that like we were friends with, like hang out with and stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, you're on TV driving like with these like legends basically, and you're beating a lot of them too, which is like, I don't know, like it's internally impressive to me.
Yeah, I wonder if Tesla will ever get into it.
So there is actually like an electric division for IndyCar now. It's gaining popularity. It's like IndyCar E or something. It's B&W like electric cars. So instead of like refueling the cars because it's battery, they have 2 cars that they jump between like throughout the race.
And charge one.
Yeah. Well, you don't charge one. There's no time. So like you basically run one until it's empty, and you just jump into a new car. Yeah.
And then they charge the other one while the other one's running.
No, you just run 2 cars for the whole race.
2 cars for the whole race. Well, that's Roadster. I think it's what 0 to 60 in 1.6.
Which one?
The Tesla Roadster.
Oh, the Roadster?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably something like that.
I mean, the van is like 1.9.
That's pretty nuts.
That's fast.
Yeah, no. So the only one I really like dove into at all was like the Cybertruck, because like that's what I'm looking for myself.
Yeah.
I wasn't I wasn't super on board like the whole like electric car thing at first, because I always kind of wanted to drive a truck, but instead I ended up with a van, and now I'm going to electric trucks instead.
I want one, but my problem is the charging stations. I know everybody that has one says, well, it tells you where it's at and blah blah blah, but I don't want to worry about that. When they're available like gas, then I think I'll think about it.
Yeah, I think that infrastructure is going to be happening like
Yeah.
shortly within the next couple of years. I mean, Shell, like they're looking to switch their entire business into like basically away from like the oil and stuff, and then by like 2030 or 2040, I forget what it is, but like they're shifting like basically 100-year-old company from like oil into like entirely like renewable sources. So it's I think the revolution is coming, and basically like we'll see a lot more of that in the near future.
You'll probably see initially like half gas and half electric pumps, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, gas isn't gonna die like
No.
in the next couple of years at least, but you'll definitely see like the growing popularity of like people adopting like electric vehicles and such.
But you'll still need oil because there's oil in this.
Yeah.
So, just because we're not using gasoline, oil makes that monitor. There's oil properties in that monitor.
Yeah. No, and even like with like the antifreeze that they're spraying on the wind turbines are made of like oil-based products for the most part, mixed with like carbon and stuff. But like you're spraying like antifreeze, which is basically an oil-based product as well that you're spraying to get rid of the ice and stuff. So you're never gonna totally get away from it, because like so much of society is built up on it. So like you'll never see a complete like removal of like.
So it's not going to be quite of a hit as some people may think.
No, I don't think so.
Just like I don't think 200 million people got corona, but
yeah, I don't think so.
Well,
is that what the final number was, or
well,
I thought they stopped counting
I stopped watching the damn news because I can't stand it. But
yeah, I don't have time for it.
Yeah, I was watching it and I'm done with it. I watch something. I watch National Geographic documentary when I do have time to watch something.
No, I'm the same boat.
But I because I know doctors. I've had them in here and I know a lot of them. And when you go in, let's just say you got a sniffle and the test becomes inconclusive. And now we're down here in Florida, which is definitely fraudulent like crazy, especially in the medical stuff. If you code that as corona, you get like $3K from the state, $7K from the government, and then another $3K from the insurance. So just for coding it for that, you get anywhere from $9 to $13K per person.
Yeah. No, and like people are gonna utilize like the loopholes which they get paid the most from. So I mean, even with like I don't know who's as a result, but like even, like after the transition now, like I know like life-saving drugs like insulin and epinephrine and stuff like went up like 550% just as a result of like the transparent there was a transparent healthcare billing laws, and like basically these new incentives to like democratize or like put healthcare industry onto like the capital markets basically, so that like it would average out like the average price. I mean, it doesn't make sense that like an ambulance ride's like $8K. It doesn't make sense that like an appendectomy is like 30 to 50 grand or like up to 180 grand. Like
it's insane.
Like a delivery, like having a child, like basically it's like 25 grand to have a kid in like a hospital. So it's I don't know, it doesn't make sense. That's one thing I kind of liked about Sweden, because like I had my appendectomy there and like it cost a couple $100. Granted, like of course it's like government subsidized, but it's there's no reason it should be that expensive to have like
it
a
seems
very
like Sweden
common procedure.
kind of worked that out. It seems like they, maybe they don't have the job opportunity there that is here. They don't pay the same amount, but it seems like they got that under control. They got a good strategy.
Yeah, well,
it seems to me. I don't know.
No, yeah, and I agree. Like in some regard, like it does make more sense, because like with having like a flat tax code and just like very simple taxing, there's no loopholes or anything. Like basically, like if you buy more stuff, you pay more because you have a value add tax. Like we don't have like a $50,000 like 50,000 page like tax code that like you need to have like a advanced degree to be able to like figure out what's going on. So
I just don't know why these people think that you tax the rich or you tax the wealthy, whatever the bracket is, 39%, and then that's going to make me hire people.
Yeah, no, and like
you
even
know,
with like the $50 million minimum like hour wage, like basically it's gonna just like push a lot of like lower skill like labor force out of the market
it's
and
going to be
replace it
all
with like
AI, robots and shit.
robots and that kind of stuff basically. So like Sweden, like they kind of figured out early in the process. So we're like advanced socialism there. So like instead of just like putting all the onus on being able to support an entire society on like the rich, basically, like they don't have a property tax, they don't have gift tax, they don't have inheritance tax.
They don't have a property tax over there?
No. So like there's a higher income tax. It's probably like 30 something 40% almost. So it is higher. But
So if you make 100K, you got to give them 40?
yeah, basically.
So so in that sense, it's the same as here.
Yeah, but it like if anything, it kind of should spur you to start your own company and start getting like company taxes because like
Yeah.
I don't know what the company tax is right there in Sweden right now, but it's definitely lower than the income tax. So it's very like business friendly in Sweden. Like they kind of realize like yeah, that's what's going to be supporting our society. So like
So if I make 50 grand, I pay 40%. If I make 5 million, I pay 40%.
yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I think it's fair in a way. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would disagree with me, but it's kind of fair because if you put your mind to it and you're not a idiot, you can do it. You just got to not be lazy. I don't know. I'm not.
But there are like a lot more like welfare systems and stuff like that or should be able to support you like throughout. Like if you're a student, like you do get like welfare checks for like being a student, so you can buy food and the clothes and stuff.
Yeah.
And like sure, education's free and. Like if you have kids, like you get like 6 months to like a year off almost, and like both for the mother and the father, and you get credits and stuff. But like that disappears as soon as like you head out of the country.
Like if you don't work, do you get paid? Like,
yeah, so there's like,
there is a welfare.
Yeah,
type
there's
thing.
welfare, and like the whole system's being strained right now, especially like in terms of like people's pensions like being basically halved as a result of all of our like new immigration. We had a lot of like Central and like Middle Eastern migration come to Sweden because we kind of call them like welfare tourists basically. So like a lot of people will come to like countries where they like get the best services provided to them, and it's been like overloading like a very small homogenous system of people that have been paying into the system their entire lives, and now like they're not able to keep up with like providing housing for these other people that just moved in, as well as also being able to like pay off these people who've like have been are relying on their pension and living in like government housing and stuff to be able to like stay afloat.
So are they pretty lenient with the border?
They were at first, but then like of course like pandemic happened and that like shut basically everything down for a bit.
Good.
But like there was a time where we had like a very high amount of like migration. A lot of what do you get like Eastern Europeans and stuff that would that came in, and like it was a lot of like mafia run like begging rings and stuff, which was like started becoming more common after I moved out of Sweden. Like that stuff didn't exist there at all, and then now you come back and basically people are afraid to walk out at night and stuff. It's pretty crazy.
Is there a lot of drugs over there?
So like from my experience, I never really ever saw or came in contact with that stuff like when I was in Sweden at all, because it's very like looked down upon, and like I mean I think even like Justin Bieber and Snoop Dogg have been banned from Sweden for narcotics crimes for like having weed on them and stuff, and like they've been banned from Sweden as a result. I think the most recent one was it forget who was that? What was the rapper that got stuck in Sweden?
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
He had beef with our prime minister.
Yeah. What was it? The one that's the Kardashian.
Yeah, one of those guys. I'm blanking on his name now, but
who is it?
Kanye West?
No. He just had a baby with the younger Kardashian.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we don't need to.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Anyways,
whatever.
but
Yeah.
So like not much what I know of, but my other Swedish friends, they would say that there's a lot of like cocaine and stuff. So like there's not really anything in terms of weed or anything there, but like I guess cocaine is like fairly prevalent. But then again, it is everywhere else. So.
Now, do they bury you?
What do you mean?
Like if you get caught with cocaine over there, do they bury you?
You're granted like even our prison systems are fairly comparatively lax. Like life in prison in Sweden is like 20 years. So even if like you commit the most heinous crimes, like you're gonna get out in 20 years, or probably even less, because like
good time.
Well, yeah, because of like good behavior, or like because of just like lack of state resources to be able to like keep people in there forever.
Yeah,
But they do come out with like skills and stuff, so like they do help you along the way if you want to be
Oh,
helped.
you mean so it's actually rehabilitation there?
Yeah, so
wow,
it's
because there's none here.
yeah, no, it's one benefit of like going to jail in Sweden. Like you'll actually have like a bigger room, and you have like common areas, and like you get access to like TV and stuff, and basically there's libraries and people like there's social workers that work with you to help you get like functional skills. So like you actually come out of the prison like as a functional member of society, and like
with,
you're not
with a skill.
Yeah, you're not completely abandoned, and you have like a way out basically, instead of having to, well, I've got no other opportunity, like you'll fall right back into crime. So like it helps out people in the longer run, I guess. But still, I mean, whatever you think about the shorter sentences and stuff, I mean, it's very opposite of what it is here.
Yeah. Have you been to Portugal?
I haven't been to Portugal, but I've been all over Spain.
Yeah, because they legalized everything.
Yeah.
And remember, you know about that?
I mean,
they legalized all drugs.
Okay.
And
I know there's like some South American country that did something similar too.
Yeah, and they're I think it's been a year and a half now.
Yeah.
And their crime rate and all that went down 60%. And then what they do is they take the money because they legalized. So you can walk into Walgreens. I was saying, it's like I say the same thing over because it's just interesting to me. So then they take the money from like the cocaine, the drugs, and instead of like putting it like we do here into God knows what the hell, like a piece of plastic that Sleepy Joe wants to wear, right? They take that money, and if you get caught with it, they like a certain amount, like you can buy it, but say you get caught with a lot, they don't take you to jail. They put you to a real rehabilitation center to rehabilitate you.
Yeah.
So they take the money from the sales of it and then use it for rehabilitation.
Huh.
And it went down 60%. I mean,
no, I believe it if it works. I mean,
my thing with it is at least you know it's what it is. So because like right now, if they make heroin legal, are you going to go and buy it?
No.
Like, are you going to go to Walgreens?
No, I don't
okay,
think so.
I'm not either. You're not either. So,
you never know.
well, but that's your choice. But if you decide you're going to do it, you're going to go and get it on the street that could be caught with fentanyl and kill your ass.
Yeah.
Now, if it's regulated, at least you know. At least if you're going to do it, at least you know you're getting what you're getting, and you can tax it because.
Yeah, no, and I'm a big fan of like taxing, like even like if pot becomes legal in America and stuff. Like I'm all about like the government getting their fair share of that, because like I mean it should be a regulated item. Like, yeah. Like there's a whole multi-billion-dollar industry in that, and like it's an easy way to increase taxes on like something that people are gonna be doing anyways.
My friend had a shop in Colorado.
Yeah.
Dumb as a doorknob. I mean, this guy, you could say, what's 2 + 2 + 2? He'd say 7. And him and his wife opened one in Colorado. And I was saying this the other night. There was like a shop, like say right here, a shop here, a shop here, a shop here. And it was so busy, and is to this day, that there's a line in all 4. And it's all within the same area.
Yeah.
You can just walk across the street.
No,
and they just go and look at whatever line is the least. And I'm telling you, this kid he's a real nice kid.
Yeah.
But dumb as a doorknob. His elevator doesn't go to the top. The wires are crossed, and not just one wire, a bunch of wires are crossed for sure.
Yeah, I mean.
And he's killing it.
Yeah, you don't gotta be smart to like be street smart, so to speak. I guess.
Yeah,
like, just
he was a street smart dude.
You see a demand and you fill it. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like it is here, where you need, $2-3 million to open one.
Yeah, I think that Florida has some pretty high like regulations in terms of being able to be your own like grower and stuff of it. I think you needed like 20 or 30 years of like continuous operation of an agricultural company to be able to get a license.
In 2017, I was trying to get a dispensary. That's when they were first talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had this lady, I forget her, Nasser. She's a dentist over here on Palm Beach.
Mm-hmm. And
she was going to be the medical director, because you need a medical director.
Yeah.
And then there was something else you needed. So I had it all set up. I had 3, she was a partner, and then I had another partner. And this was, 17. So I don't know what it is now.
Yeah.
But you needed $1.5 million up front.
Mm-hmm.
Then you needed $350K liquid. And then you needed somebody on there that had, like you said, 20 years of experience in some type of agriculture. It could be, picking cherries,
right?
Just any type. So we got all that lined up, the liquid, the upfront money, blah, 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 blah. They go for a vote. This is 17, I think.
Yeah.
And it was in Tallahassee. I had to drive up to Tallahassee multiple times. A lobbyist, the whole thing.
Yeah, been through that.
One lady
Yeah.
voted no.
And that's screwed up. It had to be unanimous or something, or
Yeah, it had to be, it was like there was 11 people that voted. So obviously one would be off.
right.
But all 11 had to be unanimous. So now they voted on like the seizure thing. Okay, good to go.
Yeah.
They voted on like like medical stuff, like for kids, stuff like that.
Right.
Then they come up to the PSD. It's pointless to have that store if you can't give it for PSD or anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
because it just is.
Yeah.
Everybody says yes to the post-traumatic stress syndrome and anxiety and to help rehab. And one lady, I won't say her name because I don't want her coming after me, one lady voted no.
Yeah.
And that's why it didn't get past the 17. After all that bullshit,
Yeah.
all those drives up there, one lady.
Damn. Yeah. No, that
And then
sucks.
that's when I was like,
We've had no shortage of dealing with various different town governments and commissions to vote on different projects and stuff.
well,
and,
of course, my luck, the following a year and a half later, they do it again.
Yeah, no,
She retired, and now you can get it for anxiety, PSD, depression, social anxiety. I mean, you can just,
yeah,
that's
it seems
again,
fairly simple.
if I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck. I mean, that's just the way it is. All right, so I'm
at
gonna
least you're getting into all these industries early, so
yeah. Well,
you'll find the
I'm kind of like I'll get into something, build it up, and then I'll get if I'm not still up all night, trying to make it win,
yeah,
then I just sell it and get rid of it and get into something else.
right.
I've had more companies than you can count because I just build them, and then I get bored, and then once I get bored, it's got to go.
Yeah.
And then I get into something else, and I'll go crazy and don't have time for anything, TV, nothing.
No, I know the feeling.
Yeah, well, obviously you do. So, go here. Okay, so this is your you shaved the beard down.
Yeah, a little bit. Had to keep it semi-trim for the office.
What's this here?
So
This is Jensen Beach.
Yeah, so it was a house I just sold in Jensen Beach for so it's a couple of Swedish guys. Like they own the Jensen Beach Golf Club. They wanted a place nearby to be able to like live in and then house whatever golf pros that they were having coming through to live like underneath like in their little guest room.
I've never been to Jensen Beach.
No, they've got some like really good restaurants up
Do they?
there. Yeah, no, I highly recommend. What is it, 11 Maple and Peter's Steakhouse. Those are.
I've heard of Peter's Steakhouse.
Yeah, it's good, but like definitely 11 Maple if you get a chance. Like apparently the chef's like an old like what is it called, Michelin chef, and
Yeah.
it was the best duck I've ever had in my life. So
You like duck?
I mean, generally like I never was one big to order duck or anything like that ever, but like I don't know, just I tried it out for the first time when I was at Thousand North once. I'm like, all right, this is really good. And like tried a couple more times in other places, and then like just like hit the zenith when I went to 11 Maple. Like just had the like perfect like some whatever black sauce with it, orange like black sauce, and like an epic duck, and like the focaccia bread's like out of control. It's like not even fair.
See, I got talked into trying duck.
Yeah.
I was at Flagler Steakhouse
yeah.
across from Breakers.
Yeah.
And I tried it, and it was too rubbery and like greasy.
Damn.
Now at 100 North, was it more
Thousand North.
1000 North? Was it more like
Yeah, you got
grilled?
You grill and you got a crispy exterior.
Were
and
you like chewing it like gum?
No, it's like super tender. So like they know how to do steaks and meat right there for sure.
Maybe I'll try
Yeah,
it.
you have to
And then I'll text you.
Yeah, you have to come
We'll
check it out.
we'll go out.
I'll show you the member lounge.
Yeah, you could talk me into it. I might get a membership there. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
What are you doing here on this one?
that's
You got
actually
some-
from the Netflix gig. So that's
Yeah,
the-
I think that's the real, right?
the reel.
I don't know. There's
That's
something called
that's the
reel.
lighting guy with a C stand that's got a portable light attached to it.
Jesus.
But yeah, this was one of the journalists that like covered the original Epstein case, and I guess she used to work for like Palm Beach Post or something, and basically she was telling her version of the story, and like that's when I first realized like holy crap, like this is a Netflix production, like this is a lot bigger than what I thought. It's like because they just told you it's a gig, you're getting paid this much, this you got to be here, and
Oh yeah, right there it is.
yeah,
That's funny.
so that was definitely one of the
And there you
cooler
are. Look,
gigs. Yeah.
there he is. Holy shit.
So that was one of the cooler gigs.
That's got to be cool to see your name in there, right?
Yeah, no, it didn't feel real until I actually like
Now-
saw the credits.
Now that camera right there, right?
Yeah.
With all that shit he's got on, what do you think that is total?
I mean, so what were we running? I forget which R8 was, but probably about like, I don't know, 80 grand for that little setup.
Damn.
So that was so I was contracted through Apex Productions, which like worked with Radical Media which was those guys. That was the grip truck that we were
Wow.
running.
Look at all that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was definitely a like cool experience. And this is just like an opening video for like 1000 North after like the pandemic when they were opening on a reduced basis. They're running a glide cam setup there.
That's cool to watch.
So
That.
that's the executive manager. It's Chef Lee Norris. So he's kind of like the main chef behind.
Oh, there's your red camera. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at you walking,
Yeah.
tiptoe walking.
So I put the 360 camera on there to get the BTS.
And what's the paper that guy just pulled out?
That was basically the script. So
Oh.
like just to keep track of like how slow or fast I should go through the one shot there.
Wow.
We call those a oneer basically. It's a longer clip that just like goes from one part to the next without having to cut. So it
Wow. So there's a lot that goes into this.
yeah, no, there's that's my home studio there.
Wow.
It's
How
built
big
out
is
more
that?
since then. That's a 34 inch. So on the main screen I've got a 49 and a 34
Cool.
curved screen. So that's most of the stuff there is just from like the thousands of dollars I poured into like building up my
Is that the
music.
computer that you built?
Yeah, that's the newest one. The one on the left is my old one.
Cool.
So every 5 or so years I upgrade to like the next biggest baddest thing I can build.
That's a pretty cool picture. Oh,
So it was that's when we
you ever see one of those, Dan?
Yeah. I played with one before.
yeah they're fun stuff.
Easy to use or complicated?
I mean, once you understand all the fundamentals, it's fairly easy to use. But just like stuff that you wouldn't have to deal with, like with DSLRs and stuff, like black shading, basically having it.
What's this?
This is
This is the storm, I guess, right?
yeah. So we were stuck for a couple of days without power and no internet and stuff, and so I kind of like made these short, funny.
Oh,
reels.
you made this?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Made some short, funny reels, like covering, like basically making fun of like your average weatherman, like basically finding a deep hole to stand in to show like how deep the water is.
So this is all bullshit, and you made it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now tell me how you did it. How did you do it?
How we basically
In
just
simple terms.
so we just ran around to all these places around town, and like I was holding a screwdriver with a tennis ball in it. Like I had a lab, like just made it look ridiculous to
Yeah.
kind of like be one of those weathermen reporting on the storm, and like we did insert shots with like my girlfriend like reporting from the news desk and like switching between me and like my other buddy Greg Price, who was like what was his name in the series or in the episode, but like we were reporting on different aspects of the storm and stuff, like kind of just ridiculous in general. But
Now this just shows how good you are. I mean, you would never know. And,
no, I mean it looks like any other like weather report.
oh, you would never know, other than she's looking at the paper. But
Yeah.
they do that though. I mean, that looks real as can be.
Yeah.
And now
Like, basically all the things
you
underneath
got
are,
the background like you went out to talk to somebody.
yeah. So that's
What's up?
Greg reporting on some like sunken boat that we found.
You see that this is all bullshit, Dad. I mean, you would really think that that's real.
So like all the things that are rolling underneath there are all just like jokes, and if you pay attention, yeah, it's kind of funny.
So now, is this all going to an SD card?
Yeah, I mean all the individual clips are, yeah.
Yeah,
So like this
and
is we were still running like DSLRs at that point. So this is like kind of a while ago.
And what do you mix it with? What's the program again?
So for this we were using Adobe Premiere and
Adobe Premiere.
like After Effects for all the graphics and stuff.
Yeah,
But generally like we'll shoot and edit and do everything in Resolve because
Resolve.
Resolve is a lot better in terms of like color editing for like when you shoot like all raw.
More complicated?
I mean, yeah, because like it's a node-based software instead of like what Premiere is.
Yeah.
So it's more complex, but there's more flexibility like as a result. And instead of having to open up like between like Adobe Audition, like After Effects, Premiere, and whatever else, like you can do all that all in Resolve. Like Resolve's got like Fairlight effects for like the audio within itself. You got fusion effects like for like the After Effects type stuff like within Resolve. So overall, I think Resolve is definitely a better program. But
And
like
it has
more
the
plugins.
multicam. Like you could sort of, is the bass kind of like Final Cut or nothing like Final Cut at all?
I mean, I started off using Final Cut when I was doing like directing courses and stuff in college, but it's definitely simpler to use, I think, than Final Cut, because in some regards, like doing effects and stuff on Final Cut like was kind of complicated when I was using it back in like 2012, 13, basically. So that's why I didn't stick with it.
It's like Photoshop, 10,000 different tools, and it's
But that's
crazy.
that's the same thing with Ableton too. Like that's why a lot of people like hate on Ableton, like and go Fruity Loops for like audio production, because like Ableton, you gotta work a lot more for your sound. Sure, you can make it sound better, but like, you gotta work a lot harder for it, because like there's so many different ways you can like get to a sound basically.
Yeah. And here he is DJing.
Yeah, so that's at my sister's wedding.
So, and this was the last one you did. You said, well, it looks like so 2019.
Yeah, so yeah, shit, 2020 just like kind of disappeared.
Yeah,
I'm still stuck in like March of
that's
2020.
a nice place you got. Where'd she get that at? Oh, Grand Hotel Stockholm.
Yeah. So they got married at like some church in Södern, which is like it's called the southern part of town. It's where like the working class people used to be, and now it's become like a nice area. My grandpa was born
that's
there.
your bullshit there,
I was
right?
born there too. So that was so that was when he was reporting from the sunken boat, and my girlfriend was supposed to do it with me, but she ended up like doing something else. I don't know what it was. I don't think she wanted to be out in the rain.
Yeah.
So like I had to like figure out like a jerry rig to attach a light to my shoulder rig to like keep him lit enough like in the dark to be able to see everything he was doing. So
That is so funny.
Yeah. So I made a nice little edit for the whole like
Clean.
weekend there. Basically, it was really cool.
Clean. Yeah, those are so much better to watch.
Yeah.
It's got to be uncomfortable in that little thing, though.
Oh yeah, I mean, you have to take the steering wheel off to be able to get in or out.
Right.
The Trailer Snakes was so this is for Mohawk. So we've shot like a ton of like product shoots for.
Who is this? I'm sorry.
So we did a ton of like lawnmower type shoots, basically for like Mohawks, Husqvarna. There's like two more that I'm blanking on right now, but they various different like lawn maintenance like company products. So we shot like an entire product line or multiple entire product lines of like lawn care products with like actors who are like now friends and like fellow grips on our productions and stuff. So it was a cool experience to like get to see and do all this stuff, although it is kind of grueling to be outside in the sun all day long cutting grass and doing it over and over again to get the shot.
Well, at least it was March and it wasn't well, you posted this in March. At least it wasn't like
no,
August.
me, that's probably like a month or two late, so but yeah, the thing up on the so that's my office and index right there.
Okay.
There's more crap on the desk now, but
that looks like a Mac right there.
No, that's what's it called? Surface Book.
Surface Book.
Yeah.
Okay, you got me. I thought I had you. This is Times Square. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were. What was this for? Oh, this is when we were fundraising for an energy plant that we were looking to. So me and Nick, he's my best friend like now, but he was working with us. No, so okay, no, so this is Sakni. This is Stockholm Chamber of Commerce, New York. So basically, like, they help Swedes like find their place and like find contacts and stuff in the U.S., which like it's a great like.
So it's kind of like something you do for your country.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, you find opportunities because like you get a lot of people that have like some pretty insane.
And you network, right?
Yeah, it's good networking, and like it's a good way to find your way into like industries and other investments and stuff that you otherwise wouldn't have like directly have been approached by, like just being in like the area they're in. So it's the more innovative like companies coming out of Sweden that are trying to expand to the U.S. They'll go through like groups like these to help get the right network and connections to actually set themselves up for success.
What the hell is this here?
So that's looks like a teleprompter and a camera rig for when they do like the various different stock trading shows and stuff. So we were inside the NASDAQ for their event there.
What was that like?
No,
with the
I mean
NASDAQ?
it was cool. Just
Crazy?
like it. No, just fun seeing all the different studio setups and like the behind the scenes of it. Because otherwise, you just see like what's
Yeah.
in front of the screen. Like they're sitting there
Yeah.
talking in the background.
Wow.
So of course, I'm more interested about the gear than the actual like.
Now,
people
how
in
did you
front
get
of
in
the
there?
TV.
Because you were doing that.
Yeah, so like
that
the
event?
SACNY event was like held in the Nasdaq, and that's what the thing behind it is. Like that's 3 crowns on the logo behind my head there. It's
Yeah.
like the 3 crowns of Sweden, basically.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Cool. Man, you've done a lot, man. Jeez.
It's fun. And the trailer snakes was a fun. We took down a trailer park in the middle of Jupiter.
Which one's that?
So you see trailer snakes on the left
This here?
there. Yeah.
What'd you do?
So this is the short version because it's only Instagram 1 minute. But basically, we had a whole mobile home park that we'd like paid everybody out of their like mobile homes and stuff
Yeah.
just to be able to redevelop it. We're building an assisted living facility there now. But basically, we had all these like completely authentic like mobile homes that like you've seen Trailer Park Boys, right?
Yeah.
So it's like straight out of Trailer Park Boys, and we just didn't even have to decorate much at all.
That clip right there reminds me of Cheech and Chong.
Yeah, basically, it's so we threw together a quick little idea, just like, all right, we've got this trailer park. We're never gonna get a location like this again. What can we do that's fun and quick and easy?
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. So that's Greg. He's
Shout out to Greg.
yeah.
Look at him. That's pretty fucking cool, dude.
So he's been like our main actor in most of the things that we've been doing. He's big into like production, film and stuff too.
Now this little clip is a minute, right?
Yeah. So
How
the
long
full
did
thing's
that
like
actually
3
take you
minutes.
or the 3 minutes to do?
Probably 20 or so hours at least.
Damn.
Yeah. It all takes longer than you think.
It
These
always
red cars
does.
are from our industrial
That's
facilities.
nice.
Yeah, those are
I always-
my boys.
I like to drive around one of them.
Those are my college buds, Shubin and Tucker.
What's up, guys? Let's get into what I think this is your baby, in my personal opinion.
No, it definitely is.
Okay, so we got Wavelength here, and your ultimate goal is to create a film, right?
Yeah, full feature film. So
yeah,
basically, it just like the long term goal is to basically build like Hollywood 2.0 here in Florida. Like back in the 1907, I think it was, like they initially had an idea to put like the original Hollywood here in, I think, Florida. I forget where in Florida, but they were about to do it, and then basically between like a hurricane and like bad political environment, ended up like just moving out to the West Coast, and Hollywood like became a thing out there and like blew up. So like I'm currently working on putting together like the right people and money together to like create like our own
little
another,
Hollywood, like another
yeah.
place to do things. Yeah,
just
that'd be cool.
with the fully like holographic like screen backgrounds and stuff like you've seen on the Mandalorian and stuff.
Yeah,
I know View Studios or Diamond View out in Tampa, they're doing that kind of stuff too. But I see it happening, and there's so many people like, well, just like talented people and like celebrities and stuff around, like specifically where we are right now, that like I'm surprised that there isn't a bigger like film industry in Florida. But a lot of that rides on like the lack of like tax incentives for like film groups to be able to like build something bigger here.
right.
So it's a lot of like interspersed independent guys that are like working in their own like kind of little pods basically, and I
And
want
in
to
all
build a
honesty,
bigger.
now's the
collaboration.
time to do it because they're all leaving California.
Yeah.
The two places right now: New York, California.
So I've
They're
talked to a
leaving.
couple of guys like on the what is it, the Palm Beach Film Commission or the Florida Film Commission or something,
Yeah,
and basically like that there are others that like are kind of pushing for this as well. So like in the very near future, I see us having like some good tax incentives for it, because there is I mean, there's so much money that could be made in like this creative services industry. I mean, you could see it like you saw it happen in Georgia, like with the rise of like The Walking Dead, created like basically a whole
a
like
whole
industry
entire
there.
metropolis.
Yeah.
kind of, and now they're going there to film and everything else, and that brings money to the state.
Yeah, so I wanna follow kind of like so the owner of K, I think it was K, is it K? No, it's Chick-fil-A. The only owner of Chick-fil-A
Yeah,
started
he's
his
killing
own,
it.
yeah, but he started his own studio like company called, I think it's called Pinewood Studios, and basically I'm wanting to like, kind of follow their setup and how they created their like setup basically.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
You'll do it.
yeah. So it's that's a kind of 10-year plan.
I was just gonna say 5-10 years. you
Yeah,
could do it.
probably. I mean, knowing things take longer than they should, like probably 10, 15 years, but I've got the right people around, and I've got access to the people that might potentially invest in it. So
If you could maybe
I
get
believe in
it
it.
built and open in the next 4 years, while what's going on is what's going on, while everybody's running away from the places that have this.
Yeah.
I mean, it might not be like super prosperous, but you'll have it going.
Yeah.
You know.
So basically, just with all the people moving down here and like the spotlight kind of being on Florida a bit as it is right now, I think it's like kind of the right mix of chemicals to make it happen, basically to set it off.
I think so too. And then now, when you do your SEO and your website builds, do you have a minimum, or how do you base if you're gonna do it or not?
Like per gig? What do you mean?
Yeah, like if I call you and I say, hey, I want you to do my SEO, or I want you to build me a website or my graphics, how do you go about
So we have like kind of baseline costs, and then like we talk through the whole company and like the image that they want to portray and stuff with the various different owners and management teams. So like we'll determine like based on like their budgetary requirements or like their presentation requirements, like what the best solution for them would be. So like whether it's building a Squarespace website or building like a WordPress website, like that's determined by their budget, and like depending on like how much content they want built for it. Like selling the websites was always just an easy thing because like they needed a place to have their company online, but also like have like good looking photo and video and stuff. So that was it was always like a beneficial additional upsell basically on all of our web creation gigs, and that was kind of the way like we kind of structured those. But in terms of like how we charge and payment structures and stuff, it just entirely depends on the complexity, the requirements in terms of like people, gear, location,
and what it is they're
yeah,
trying
what it is
to
you're
market.
trying to do, yeah.
Yeah, because if it's not going to win, then you're just going to beat yourself in the head for nothing.
Yeah, and like depending if it's like a real TV commercial spot or if it's just like a social video and stuff, like it like changes the like quality requirements, and like you don't do as many takes for like a social video versus like a Comcast like spotlight. So it's the amount of effort basically involved and how many hours you put into like in post to like make it perfect basically.
Yeah, and then you do. And are these pictures that you took?
So this is actually, most of these are Justin. So Justin's he's a great like photographer, and he's been more active in terms of just like taking pictures than I have for the past like 2-3 years.
That's pretty cool. So
Yeah,
you
so
can get these on canvas. You can select the size.
Yeah, so
I get that big fucker. Yeah, see, I mean, shit. I mean, I can change your whole living room.
yeah. So we put up a bunch of our own like
That's not bad.
prints
40
and
by
stuff
60. That's not bad for $800.
Yeah, so we'll sell prints of those. And
So you got your prints here. Man, I didn't know you guys were doing this too. I didn't see this part. I probably would get that,
yeah,
actually.
it's one of the few that I actually took.
Oh, you took that?
Yeah.
That looks cool.
I had a 1500 millimeter lens and just like set it up on my my dock and
That's a
just,
hell of a
shot
picture.
at the moon. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So you can buy pictures on here. You do website design and graphics. I've seen the graphics. I still can't find what I was looking for, but
Oh, that's in our case studies. So if you go to our case
Yeah,
studies, you
maybe
can
that's
see
what
like
it was.
different
yeah.
different logos and stuff. So basically, we break it down over industry.
What's the biggest one you do out of all these?
I mean, what
As in
what pays the
logos.
bills the most? Or
Yeah.
I mean, definitely probably restaurants. Between restaurants and real estate, that's what pays most of the bills. Like, because we end up doing like consistent marketing on like an ongoing basis. We'll come in like once every month or once every quarter, depending on like what your content needs are.
Oh, you did Bolay too?
Yes, we did their
Jesus.
Super Bowl commercial last year, or
What?
last year.
What'd they pay to have that suit? Are you allowed to tell me?
So it wasn't very exciting in terms of the payment, but like it was a fun gig to do. And,
How many seconds was it?
I mean, here, check it out. I forgot. It was.
I can't play because on
oh,
YouTube
shoot.
they'll strike me.
That's probably about like 30 seconds to not even a minute.
They paid for that.
Yeah.
You know, gotta tell. And you did Palm Beach Yacht Club?
Yeah, so I just
Boy.
did like a photo shoot and been doing a couple like video walkthroughs of like yachts and stuff for them.
My man, you were doing some big time stuff. There's 100 North.
Yeah.
Palm Beach Yacht Club, jeez. Wow. Well, that one's definitely a winner.
Yeah.
And then And then the
because all these restaurants, they change their menus on a fairly regular basis. They're going to want to have like good content of all their new food items and stuff. So basically, it became like a recurring like marketing business model that we could like keep.
That's
like,
awesome. When you
double
get
dipping
something
into.
like that where they're always like I kept mine to 10 contracts because I don't want to get overwhelmed.
Yeah, no. So I try to keep it to basically like we have some fairly like standardized like levels in terms of pricing for like what we would do for that. Like sure, we're no like $100 like social
No.
media service, but
No.
like we'll definitely have content that's like award winning. Like half of our like pictures that we took for 1000 North ended up in like various different magazines and newspapers and stuff. So like the marketing was just like worth it for itself in terms of like the pictures just got snapped up by the press and like they didn't have to pay for that kind of marketing.
Yeah.
So like basically like that's free marketing for them that they that looks like
Yeah, with
artists,
my
art.
marketing, I got 10. I like the people. I with lawyers, 1-year contract. I kind of have a minimum because, as you know, with this SEO stuff, 2 months go by and you're not on page 1. Oh my God, it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
but
it takes a little bit of time to implement,
And you never know when it's
going
going to pop.
Yeah.
And if you get, unfortunately, if you charge $300 a month, you're probably not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
But
No, so we charge probably like 4 or 5 times that
Yeah.
much. But
yeah.
we just shot a Freeman injury law commercial this past week. So that was it's fun just diving into like the legal realm.
And this is the Wavelengths Instagram.
Yeah.
And it is it's just Wavelengths images. You could type
Yeah,
in
it's at Wavelength Images, yeah. But like we go under the name just Wavelength by itself.
Yeah, I'll put it in the description.
Sure.
And you can see all. That's a pretty cool ass picture.
Yeah, so it's from the woods. It's one of their cocktail shoots.
That's clear.
Yeah, so basically, like, there's a huge demand for just making food products and cocktails look like art, basically, to get people excited about them.
Now, what's this here?
So basically, Justin started off. He's a huge kiteboarder and like surfer, so he's always been super excited about like anything surf or hydrofoil related. Ended up doing what's it called, the branding website and logo for Delta hydrofoils.
Wow.
So he's been following along basically everything like hydrofoil, and we've got a friend, Evan Netsch, who's a professional kiteboarder.
That looks hard as hell.
Yeah, I managed to stay up on it for like 7 seconds. I can't stay up.
It's a lot of fun.
You've done it?
Yeah. They have all different kinds of hydrofoils.
Yeah. They've got some newer ones with like massive wings, so basically you don't have to work as hard to be able to fly in like lower wind or like surf conditions.
They're almost like bikes.
Yeah, so I still have yet to figure out the.
Yeah, but if you go to the Wavelength Instagram, you'll see some serious shit.
It's like
Yeah.
there's a bunch of stuff between like Thomas Melhorn, which is a real estate like architecture client, like Florida Institute of Performance gym, like 1000 North. They got the restaurant stuff, and like Cabrina Kites. They're one of the biggest like kiteboarding companies. They're actually based out of Jupiter, Florida now.
Are they really?
Yeah, so like Damien Leroy and like John Modica, they ended up like buying Cabrina kiteboarding and basically like relocated it from Hawaii to Jupiter. So it's exciting to have such big like water sports brands like right in our backyard, basically.
Yeah, like I was saying, Jupiter's blowing up. I mean they're really expanding. But yeah, definitely check out the Instagram and the website, because if you need a commercial, this is the guy. He's got a fucking red camera.
Yeah. So the video is definitely like the most fun part of like the whole marketing company thing. Basically, it's what we like. It's our bread and butter, and it's what we love doing the most out of all of it. Basically,
The marketing?
well, no, just like the video.
Oh, the video, I'm
video
sorry.
aspect of it, because
Yeah.
there's so much stuff you can do creatively. I mean, we have all the fun toys.
You got the toys, the software,
Yeah.
and the
We ended
time, and the people.
Most of our grip gear, like we like the C stands and like that kind of stuff, like sandbags and everything, we ended up buying from a local company that got all their stuff from like this porn company in Miami. So we've got a bunch of like ex-porn like C stands and stuff. It's really
That's
kind of
fucking
funny.
cool.
Yeah.
Sanitized it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
of
make
course.
sure you sanitize that, right? You want that spray of peroxide to take over with
Yeah, I
you?
did the spray on the way in.
Okay, now this is your Index Realty, right?
Yeah, so the brokerage, I started that probably about 8 years ago, and then kind of selling properties here and there, and it's we're now a team of probably like 7 people, so still keeping it kind of small. Basically, mostly just like residential sales, a little bit of commercial here and there where we find projects and stuff.
Yeah, see, Jupiter's going up 500K.
Yeah, so that's not even updated. So Lakeshore
That's
Drive's already sold, and then
that's already
Perdita's
sold?
also sold too. And I actually already leased out the 1044 building.
You leased this one out?
Yeah, so I just haven't updated that section yet.
Mm.
But yeah, just I had like 5,000 square feet that I was trying to lease out through the pandemic, and I was looking for one large tenant, which we finally managed to get. But like in terms of smaller tenants, like there was no shortage. I basically could have leased out the whole building like 3 times over through like in the middle of the pandemic, because people were looking for like individual office spaces for themselves, and kind of just like, I'm assuming, getting away from their family after having been stuck
At home.
Yeah.
Now, do you think because of COVID, it's going to hurt the commercial, the commercial property office? Because
In A locations, there's really not much worry. I mean, we're fully leased, and like most of the other offices around us are fully leased too. But like if it's a commercial office, like in places where people are getting away from, like New York, or like in less popular areas, it's definitely gonna be harder. And
I'm more
really don't
assuming
know where.
because like they learn how to work from home, like with Zoom, which I
Yeah,
hate.
like if you look
and-
at Salesforce and stuff, like their entire workforce has the option to work from home forever now. Like
yeah,
it's definitely, it was tried, tested, and proven like throughout the pandemic, and I think we'll see like a lot more people do just that, like just work from home and not have to like actually utilize like office spaces. I mean, I think I was reading like an article about like New York, and like their average cost per employee coming into the office was like 16 grand, basically just to get back up and running, keeping these like very expensive office leases going. So I think.
yeah. I read the same article, and then they found that they were more productive by working at home.
Yeah.
Because like they had like, this you have to do A to Z today, and from 9 to 5, but you can do it on your own time. You want to go take the dog for a walk at 10.
Yeah.
But this is
No,
what
and
you
like
got
you
to
end
do.
up being more productive
Yeah.
because like you want to get away from like your family or whatever, and like
Yeah.
get away. I'm doing important shit.
Yeah,
right
I'm in
now,
my
kinda.
I'm in my man cave.
Yeah.
So and you also you evaluate their home,
Yeah, I mean we'll do a CMA like
CMA,
any
right.
any realtor does.
and then you'll sell too.
Yeah, so we'll had a couple different listings. We sold a couple houses in Egret Landing just recently. Sold like had a listing up in Jensen Beach, and
You're doing big boy shit.
yeah, it's decent sized deals, but basically it's
And this is your team here.
yeah.
Who's the best?
It's
Don't say
definitely between like Marson or myself.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he ended up selling more than me last year. I wasn't
Did he?
focusing as much on the realty aspect as but he's killing it out there. He's getting like more and more lead like listings every single day. It's kind of nuts.
Hey, good for him.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. He's killing it.
And then index invest. This seems to be your bread and butter, right?
Yeah, so that's the main gig kind of like that I do. That's basically I work in the North American side of things for the most part. Sure, I'll like venture into North America. Canada is North America, but like I'll focus on like the main Florida, U.S. and like Canada aspect of things. And yeah, so we started off in Stockholm 20 something years ago, 21, 22 years ago, and now we're like across the world and a couple
Wow.
different
So
aspects.
you got condos, rentals, senior living, commercial.
Yeah, so in
track
Florida,
record.
we're basically focusing on just multifamily rentals, senior living, and like well, not just Florida, but like North America, like industrial and stuff as well.
That's really cool. And then you got the energy.
Half the website isn't loading for whatever reason. So those are some of the rentals that we're going out with right now. Center
So all
Park's
these
the one
are
in West Palm.
available to rent?
Yeah, all except for like Seaward Point, which is a work in progress, where it's about to be developed. Tarpon Harbor, no, it's not Tarpon. Point on West Shore should be done in about March, April, hopefully, and then Center Park is yet to be developed, probably about 2-3 years out.
This is 2-3 years out?
Yeah. But we literally just got approved like maybe 3 weeks ago.
How long did it take them to approve you?
Almost a year with comments
Jesus.
going back and forth. So that's always one of the like tough aspects in being development. That you just have to be able to hold on to the property and like be able to like work with the towns to make sure like everything's up to what they want, so they can actually support the project.
This looks nice here.
Yes, that's up in Orlando. Or no, High Ridge you're talking about. That's not in
That's
Boynton.
Boynton.
Yeah, so I was looking at Sonoma.
This looks real nice, but I don't really like Kissimmee.
Yeah. It's,
Abacoa.
yeah, so that was the first rental
This is
multifamily we
nice
built
right
in
now.
Florida. So I actually ended up living there myself after having moved out of my parents' house from college. So thinking that I would get a deal living at one of our own communities, I found out from Nick, who was working at our company at the time. He's since gone off and started like a massive HR company, killing it worldwide.
Yeah,
But
that's nice.
he was the one going through the numbers and basically said like, oh yeah, no, like apparently everyone else got like a month off or some sort of discount, and you're the only one paying like full price. I'm like, wow, thanks guys. I'm like, this is our own development.
Sounds like you got luck like me, man.
Yeah, so like my dad's definitely been one to like have me experience things and learn for myself, and basically just.
So how many people are working at Index Real Estate?
So an Index investment group, basically in the U.S., we probably got like 13 or 14 people, and in Sweden we probably got about a little less than 20, probably 15 people-ish. And like throughout all the various different like subdivision, like different companies underneath, like so across like the construction companies and everything else, couple hundred people. But like my division where I work in, we're probably like 11 to 13 depending on like the year.
And you guys own all these already?
Yeah, we've sold out of a couple of them, but like Seaward Landing is one that I'm currently leasing out right now. I'm going through. It's a workforce multifamily rental development in Seaward in Marathon and like the Keys.
Yeah.
So it's a workforce, and that means it's basically rent is like based on your income, and that's based off an average median income for the whole like community and like society around there. So right now, like we should have been able to lease it out like basically in a month, but we're running into the trouble that people are making too much money, and they're out of the bracket of like 80 to 120% of average median income to be able to like get into our place. So
I'm gonna say with my friend. He's looking to get open up a salon.
okay.
I'll tell you off. His wife does some heavy hitters, but I'll tell you when we're off. But
Cool.
he's looking to get a commercial property and turn it into a salon. But I'll tell you, I'll set you up with him.
Oh, no, that'd be great. Yeah, I'd be happy to help.
Yeah, I'll tell him to call you. And then energy. What are you doing with energy here too now?
So our first venture into energy was a biomass cogeneration plant up in Ajax, Canada. Basically, we bought an old what started off as back in the 1940s as they built what's it called? They were doing like ammunition and such for the World War effort. Then it was like a coal-fired power plant for a while. And then they tried doing biomass, but it didn't really work out. And basically, we bought like a defunct power plant.
What is biomass?
It's like woody biomass, basically.
Oh,
like,
you were telling me this.
yeah, so like for construction waste, yard waste, wood waste, and like that kind of stuff. And basically, we chop it up and we regulate everything so that it's a specific like moisture content and like up to our specific criteria for like what the boiler will take, and like basically you just burn it, create energy, chilled water, heated water, steam, and you sell that to the surrounding grids.
But it just didn't work out right.
No, I mean it's still up and running, and like that was our first venture into it, but like basically it's
But solar
took like 9 years to get to that point.
Shit.
And like hundreds of millions of dollars, and basically
God
it's
dang.
yeah. So it's
Have you made back that capital yet?
no, not yet. So
Yeah.
still, it's a work in progress. But it was definitely like a great entry into the whole energy field in the first place, and
Right.
kind of got us into the larger scale biomass like industry, and like diving into a lot of the different verticals that come with it. So now we're in like carbon sequestration out in like Mayaca right now. Doing basically like subsidiary services that come with having like an energy feedstock, like woody biomass type thing. So basically, we're in this company now like is doing like compost and like soils for like agriculture and like sand fill and stuff for construction. So it's one of the different verticals that like these companies we can go into if they're not producing like energy pellets and stuff.
So what do you think would be the big one? Solar? Or do you think it would be the wind?
I personally believe in like both the biomass and the wind, because like there's no shortage of like woody biomass ever. I mean, there will always be construction, there will always be yard waste. So I'm a huge believer in biomass specifically, but the wind and just like seeing Hexagon's progress over the past couple of years is like it's I mean, it's insane. Like the deals they're talking right now, like specifically with like the Cohen's hexagon collaboration between them and Shell, like in South Korea, like a 1,500 megawatt like solar or not solar, sorry, wind turbine plant, just like nuts. It's absolutely massive. So like I definitely believe in like the future of both biomass and wind, and like
You think solar just doesn't have the juice right now?
solars. There's definitely like validity to it, but I think like in a larger scale, I think you probably could use some more efficiency in that regard. But I definitely believe in solar as well. Granted, like we put solar panels on our industrial facilities up in New York. We're working on it currently, and then looking into some other like solar field stuff here in Florida.
I think it needs just more time to make it better.
Yeah.
When I had the engineering company, it drove like I did it, you know what I mean, but it drove me nuts because these guys would buy these $4, $5, $6 million house, nice roof,
Yeah.
beautiful roof, and then they would call and want it covered with solar panels.
Yeah, it takes like 7 to 11 years to like recoup your cost on those things.
Yeah,
so
and I would be like, dude, and I would say to him, I said, you know, even though I was making a profit, you know, I'm not a snake and scuzzball like many people here in South Florida.
Right.
But I said to the guy, so you sure you want to do this? You got like a really beautiful, nice roof. Now you're going to put these panels up there?
Yeah.
I mean, I know you might look cool in the neighborhood. You got the $5 million house with the solar panels on top, but I mean, you got a nice roof, man.
Right.
And he's like, no, I want it. I want it. All right.
Okay.
All right. And now it's covered with solar panels.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a look too, I guess.
And the return on that, like you said, is probably about a decade,
Yeah.
if he's lucky.
No, and that's what's gonna come with like efficiency and stuff. Like the downside, I guess, with Florida is like you can't sell back to the grid if you were to like generate an energy surplus from like your own like energy solar production, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
it doesn't make that much sense on a consumer standpoint yet, but like on a commercial standpoint, it like yes, there's a big industry out there. I mean, some big players out there like Kendall and stuff.
The wind, though. The wind. As long as you don't get destroyed by killing birds, the wind.
Yeah.
And you know you're going to get shit for that.
Yeah, but then again, like we're out in the middle of the ocean, so like there's really not, I guess, even that many birds out like this far out, basically.
So what are you doing here? Gee,
That's the power plant up in Canada.
you're involved in that?
Yeah, so basically, like I was part of like the initial like
Joacim,
fundraise
who the
for
fuck
that.
are you? Who the fuck are you, man? Jesus Christ.
But I mean, I don't take credit for like being the one to create it or
You did it
finance
as a
myself.
team,
Like,
right? But you're involved in it, though. Yeah.
my dad's actually the one who's been like carrying the heavy load in terms
So
of
you
like
gotta-
putting all this together.
What's EcoGen?
That's was our Florida biomass power plants.
And Hexacon is the... I
That's
call them
deep sea
windmills.
offshore wind turbines. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Resource.
Yeah, Resource Group US. They're that's the one that does basically like all these like compost and soil like specific soil manufacturing. So basically, like if you're like a farmer or something and you like or say you're growing tomatoes, like they'll come and analyze your soil and like they'll find out like how much fertilizer and water you're using and basically they'll create like their own soil and compost mixture to cut down on excess fertilizer and like cut down on water because like their aerated mixture basically like allows for better water retention and
So basically, they make it the best of the best and the cleanest of the cleanest, and
Yeah,
then
so-
you get the best of the best, right?
yeah, so they've worked with some I guess like cannabis growers and stuff who haven't been able to grow I guess, or I don't know if it's hemp or cannabis, but it's one of the like arms, I guess. Haven't been able to grow it in pots basically in Florida, and like with their soil mixtures, like they're actually able to. So it's
That's
some
awesome.
pretty exciting stuff.
That's a
yeah.
power move.
Yeah.
Another power move.
But
How many more power moves we got, Joacim? Okay, so that's that. And then you got media. What's
yeah,
the
that's
media
just
with it?
shows our various different
Oh,
press
just
releases and
shows.
yeah, so those are just like
Yeah.
various different press releases and such.
Yeah. This will all be in the description. You got to check this stuff out. This is crazy. And this is his play.
Yeah.
But it's badass background on the website. When I was looking at it, when I put it on the thing, look, you see how it goes with the mouse?
Yeah, so that was the initial, like that picture actually was like the initial picture that made me understand that like I didn't know really who Justin was at first. I mean, we were friends in high school from like kiteboarding and stuff, but like he was dating this other like photographer girl that like I asked him to help me put together like a picture logo for like the background for me.
How'd you get it to follow the mouse like that?
It's just a CSS edition.
See it? Wow, that's pretty cool. And
So it's
then-
actually a Squarespace based this as well, which is
Yeah, you were saying Squarespace. I couldn't believe it.
see, I don't update this at all.
Yeah, I'm just showing off all the stuff that you do.
But yeah, that I've got like still 3 unreleased tracks for Hadron. It's just like haven't taken the time to
Well, I mean, when
put
you're
together the right package for them.
well, dude, when you're doing windmills and 400 unit projects that are a gazillion dollars, I think you could put the techno shit to the side now, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
But it's still fun to have that as like a backup kind of
Yeah.
fun career.
yeah,
But still, it's I don't know, it's more passion at this point.
like, yeah.
Yeah, Contra was the track I did with Phoenix Paul.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, when was this?
Oh, there's a
Yeah,
while
18.
ago. Yeah, so you can see how much I update that.
Yeah. And then we did Wavelength.
But yeah, Contra was cool. We released that on Armada, which is like one of the biggest like basically electronic dance music like labels in the world.
That's cool. And this is the Realty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So it just shows a little bit of the various different like projects that we are involved in and like leasing out or selling and stuff.
That's.
So that was the first Condor project we went into in the U.S. That was Riva
That's
down
down
in
in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
That's done.
Yeah, it's completed for
Wow,
the
that
most
was
part
14.
now. Yeah,
It's been 6-7 years and still not done.
no, it's. I think I'm pretty sure it's completed. We got out of the project early because basically we were doing the pre-sales and stuff, and basically it was taking too long. So we kind of like diverted and changed the business plan to like not really doing condos. We were kind of focusing on like multifamily rentals and stuff, and then
So
kinda
you
added on
still
senior
have
living
this
from
or
there.
no?
no. So that's we
That's
sold out
gone.
of that a while ago.
Okay. I bet that was a nice sale.
Yeah.
Okay, that we did hard on. I like. And this is your bad boy here.
Yeah, so we don't have too many followers, but it's for just a way to like update people on like the visual aspect of some of our projects and stuff. So
Yeah.
the 2 newest releases are like the Center Park announcement, and then we just leased 560,000 square feet to Briggs and Stratton in one of our industrial sites up in New York.
Damn.
They're big properties. I mean, like between the 2 sites, they're almost like 3 million square feet. It's like they were old like car manufacturing plants, and like before we ended up renovating them, like you'd go inside of them, basically just be like endless, like you look into, it's an endless building basically. It's like a black hole. at the
Just
end of the
why?
building.
Just like outer space never
yeah,
ends.
it's wild. Never been in
Yeah.
a building that big before, and like it was just interesting getting into like that level, like kind of real estate. And now like industrial is some of the most like sought after like real estate by like the institutional
Yeah.
investors and like financing and stuff right now.
Now, are you in on this one here?
What's this?
This is the index team working on.
Okay,
upcoming.
yeah. So this is like us for the development meeting with what looks like our assisted living partners there on the right.
Wow.
So that's Watercrest. So we've built, what is it, probably 7 or so assisted living and memory cares with them now,
That's
like
nice.
around Florida, for the most part.
What the hell is this?
So that's Ajax Textiles. So
Okay.
next to our power plant in Canada, where we were renting out, or we were owning the real estate, and basically like they fell on hard times, and we ended up taking over the business. But then like saw the value like potential in their company, so we like continued investing with them, and it's one of I think 2 textile dyeing plants in all of Canada. It's they've got some pretty insane contracts with like Red Sox and like the Bruins, and like they also make like the material for the Supreme hats.
Oh yeah, Supreme.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like
Yeah,
a lot of Supreme clothing.
They were killing.
they
it for a
dye their
minute.
stuff.
They kind of died out a little bit, but they did a lot of.
They sold for what was it, like $1 billion or something
Yeah.
like that.
I think
Absolutely
it was.
insane.
When did I want to say 4.7 billion,
Nuts. That's absolutely insane.
and it was only really on fire for what 2 years.
Yeah, I mean probably longer than that. I mean people were buying bricks just with like Supreme branding on, which is like
Yeah.
absolutely insane. So I actually started like me and my buddy Kevin Cohn, he owns like a local printing shop. We started making our own versions of like the Supreme branded stuff. So we've got like Jupiter brand, like
Oh, that's
Jupiter
cool.
brands,
Yeah,
and, like
yeah.
for my own last name and stuff, and basically like to build up some like excitement about like our hometowns and places people wanted to like I don't know, kind of just like be proud of. Like Tequesta or Jupiter, or like whether it be like Nantucket or something, like I don't know, just that, but like the Supreme logo. Basically
Right,
was
but
our,
it kind of like modernizes it as well, like with
Yeah, so
the millennials.
yeah.
You know.
So it's like Supreme, but like your hometown. So
Yeah.
and people are pretty like proud of where they're from around here. So and like in a lot of towns around the U.S. So figured we'd kind of make those kind of like swag basically for places people want to be in and
Yeah.
make it look like Supreme.
Now I'm going to put all these websites up. So your properties that you rent, what's like the lowest one you have?
In terms of price or
Yeah. Like if somebody's looking for something to rent.
I mean, that would be our probably a workforce housing product that we have down in like the Keys. But even that's fairly like expensive comparatively to the rest of Florida because like the incomes are so much higher down there because there's so much like less supply for the workforce to be in. They get paid like substantially more as a result, and therefore like even workforce rents, which I forget what it is per square foot like on average right now offhand, but like they're still basically like almost like 50% higher than what average market rents are up in here around Florida where we are right now.
Yeah.
So it's like you're paying like $1,700 to like $1,900 for like a single bedroom, and they're like 930 square feet, and then
I don't really think that's that bad.
no, and that's workforce still. Like,
Yeah.
That's for like the teachers and the police and the firemen like living
Yeah.
in the society. So it's
I want this one in West Palm to be done.
yeah, no, it's
I
gonna be
wanna see
nice. We've
that,
got
yeah.
like mad amenities coming with that.
Yeah, and how many units you got in there?
That's 231.
231. All right. Well, you got to come back in again.
Yeah,
and
no, I look
update
forward
me,
to it.
man.
Yeah, and I'll let you know about all the
I could
new
sit here with you
projects.
for another 2 hours. You know what I mean? You got just so much going on. But I don't know. You're killing it, man.
No, it's all work in progress.
Yeah.
Excited to be a part of it all.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, thanks
and
for having me.
I'd love to have you back. You know, wait a month or two, see what's going on, and shoot back in and update me.
Cool. Yeah, I would love to.
All right.
Show
Thank
you
you
my
for your
office and
time,
stuff.
man. I'm very impressed with you.
Thank you.